Hi Scorpio, and thank you for joining me for this reading for 2018. This is your Higher Arcana overview reading for 2018. I'm going to use the tokens in just a minute to clarify, but I'm using the Oracle Tarot Higher Arcana in order to read for your entire year. Before we do this, let me tell you that my astrology reading is linked down below. I did them separately. It's a 10 to 15 minute overview reading for January through June that will clarify some of the transits for you that I might mention while doing this reading. Secondly, I did a horoscope tarot reading on Instagram that I clarified on Vimeo, and so if you guys want to rent a video or two, this is a way that you can support me in the channel. Go to the links provided down below. If you don't have money, once we get the Instagram reading up to 500 hearts, then I will allow some of those videos, if not all, to become available on YouTube. But I do appreciate your guys' support of me and the channel, okay? So let's take a look at your reading. I just want to give it a good shuffle. So as I said, I'm using the entire Higher Arcana, so you'll see all the cards come through. And this is the reading I do every single year for you guys. So your first card and core message is the card of Justice. This is the act of achieving balance in your life, and it's something that you have been aiming towards for a long time. I think some of the things that you choose to do this year in order to achieve justice are adjust yourself and really put an effort in towards going a different direction than that which is expected of you, that which you are used to. You have a bit of a renegade attitude, a unique approach to doing things different than that of everyone else. And I think that you are seeking that balance for yourself. So you're really seeking balance and order in your life this year to improve circumstances and to get into equilibrium, even if it means sacrificing against going down the route of traditional ways of doing things. The crossing card is the card of tradition. This is the card of the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is the kind of the status quo. So I'm kind of referencing the Vimeo reading and the astrology in this. So the crossing is so in going your own way, I saw that a lot in the astrology and in the Vimeo horoscope tarot reading. And so the tradition card reflects maybe the thing that you are working against. Nothing is black and white. And so you will ultimately find some path that will in certain ways still need those old structures of doing things in order to achieve what you are trying to achieve and the direction you are meant to go. So kind of go your own way, achieving balance, maybe breaking away from expectations of the past, or but in some way also bringing them forward in order to achieve the things that you want to achieve in your life. Okay? At the top of the reading, we have the Empress card. So this is your focal point. Either yourself or someone around you is a huge part of your life. The Empress is the mother. She is the wife. This is you in your role as a wife or a mother as well. And this came through a lot for you in the 2018 overview reading through the horoscope clarifiers. So the Empress is a huge facet of who you are. There's so many different ways of achieving things and going in many different directions, and you are meant to kind of break away from the past and move forward towards kind of new ideas of femininity and what it means to be a woman, or what women mean to you in general. This year you will find a lot of women in your life as significant parts of your experience. You can turn to women at this time to really kind of integrate all the events that are happening for you and around you. Below the surface, we see the moon, which is more subtle energies that are motivating you towards new directions. So I feel as though this is a very kind of tangible, physical experience, while this is more of a personal, subtle one. Both cards represent the feminine aspect or yin energy. The moon is to do with our desires, our yearning, inspiration, tranquility, insight, and intuition into circumstances. So I feel as though you're balancing out a circumstance, and you are trying to move through situations into a new direction. I feel as though you are motivated to become something that is concrete in the world. I feel as though that you are trying to make your mark on it. And then below the surface, you have all these really creative, wonderful ideas that are guiding you towards new ways of doing things. You kind of are seeing things from different perspectives, and you're kind of breaking the mold with regard to the things that you want to bring around. I do feel as though you feel at times that people are in some way disingenuous towards you, or maybe have in some way competing interests, or interests that are not necessarily known to you, and people who are willing to act on those interests, and that's what's disconcerting for you. In your horoscope reading, I did see that there was some kind of challenge to the things that you have. So there was this energy of having something taken away from someone, but in that situation, it was really about you buying into it rather than just, kind of not expecting something and something coming through. So in some way, someone just kind of taking away from you. So in that situation, it's kind of believing the wrong person. And then in this feeling, this is more that you have a general concern that people are just going to in some way take without your participation. So let me tell you that that's not true. People are not going to take away from you, but maybe the other situation is happening because you're spending so much time remunerating about how someone's going to take away from you and what will happen, when you lose ground with that. The past energy, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So this is your change in luck and change in opportunity for the better. This happened for you in 2017 and leading into 2018. So a total shift and a total transformation had happened in your life. And this was for the better. This was a necessary step, and you were liberated from some things that were holding you back or holding you down. And you felt freed, and you felt liberated, and you felt an ability to move forward. And this is why you are achieving this level of balance now, because something had transpired that in a certain way got you away from things that were not working for you, or that were harmful to you even. And I think that's probably why throughout 2018 you will feel that kind of questionable energy around you, questioning where it's safe and what is safe, because you had been in some way through a lot, and now because you are healing and because things are getting better, you are questioning other people's resolve and truth. The oncoming energy is the energy of Cancer, or the Chariot. There's great love coming for you in 2018. I feel as though there's someone or something or a situation that comes through that brings you, like, I see flowers, I see just bright colors, and a welcome, open arms kind of energy, kindness, and love is being expressed towards you from a variety of people. I do think that this is going to be more than one situation, and in this situation, this is going to be like in the company of friends, and then maybe in a love relationship, and then possibly like with family members, and maybe like think about it in terms of several relationships or situations that will be very kind and very and very welcoming and very sympathetic and gentle. So there's no need to kind of bang your head against the wall. There's this wonderful, kind energy that is there with you now. And I think that a lot of this will have to do with you ascribing to a doctrine. So there could be a certain belief system or a structure or a routine that works really well for you. Okay, so that routine, adopting that routine or that regimen, maybe not routine, but a regimen that in a certain way gets you to where you are going, right? So I think that's certainly you will feel more and more inspired and motivated towards a new direction and finding hope in those directions. The next card is the Sun. And so this represents love coming into your life and happiness as well. And so I feel as though you will find yourself in very good spirits in 2018. I do feel as though this has a lot of the positive changes that are happening in your life have to do with attitude and disposition. And you just feel that happiness. You feel like it's your time to be happy. Maybe it's that Jupiter in Scorpio that is helping you kind of take ownership over your feelings. And it gives you that extra little push to convince yourself that you can have the happiness that you deserve. So the Sun is in this position is just the most auspicious and positive message. I mean, it is saying that you will get the love that you want the happiness that you want, all those things are coming for you. So I would encourage you to kind of, really enjoy this transit. I feel as though maybe the more balance you get, the more grounded you get, and the more happiness you have about your life. There's a renewed hope that life can be good, that life can be in some way what it needs to be, that the promise that I feel as though you felt betrayed, that life couldn't be something and it can be. And I think that in 2018 you're coming to realize that life can be good with good situations and good circumstances and happiness and relaxation. You don't have to constantly fight, and you don't have to constantly in some way fight against something or consistently try to work against problems. And I feel as though there had been so many problems in the past that you had been liberated from. There had been so many different issues that held you back that you almost kind of didn't believe that it was possible that good things could happen. And there they come right at the beginning of 2018, I suspect. We'll see it in the quarters, but I think that for the majority of the year, if not already, there's this healing. I think that the Jupiter transit is not what you expect it to be. I think that you expected fame or infamy if you're a Scorpio, yeah. So you expected certain things, but what you're actually getting is peace and tranquility. And the other aspect of Scorpio is this healing energy of compassion, of sympathy, of just acceptance of the circumstances that you are in. Here is the next message. We have the Temperance card. So there is a Sagittarius person who is a key figure in your life. Remember that this came through in the horoscope reading in the 8th house and the 10th house and the 12th house, 8th and the 12th. And so there is a person who you need to be wary of. And I know they're a fire sign, so they're a Sagittarius or Aries. And this is a person who can get you stuck in very serious financial issues. Maybe not serious, but I sense the annoyance. You get kind of stuck in something with someone. So it could be the Sagittarius person who's around you now, or it could be someone else who has fire transits, but that came through really strong in that horoscope reading. And so here we have the Temperance card bringing balance and harmony. There's this supportive energy of hopefulness. Someone is nurturing your spirit and giving you hope towards new directions. And I feel like that's actually lighting up your life. Now, I don't want you guys running from every single fire sign person you meet, because I think that this is just one person, and you'll feel very clearly that this person is going to be an issue, especially if someone who wants to, financially integrate with you out of the blue, or someone who comes through really quick. And and kind of tries to be a part of something with you. You know, you can trust people, but learn how to trust people. That's always the advice, right? But this Sagittarian energy, Sagittarians can be so uplifting in their spirit and positivity. This person is sort of helping you in some way. The next message is the High Priestess. So I think that you're looking for this divine guidance, and definitely some of the other signs did get a spiritual year this year, but I don't feel as though 2018 is going to be as much about spirit for you as it is about practicality, about the numbers, the ones and the twos of things, the practical approach to situations and circumstances. Sorry, my hand's just like this. I feel very still, and I'm getting a lot of channeled messages for you guys, which is really a nice, I've hit like a moment in which I can really gather a lot of information for you. So you're going to see my hand just kind of not moving, I think. Or like just holding one card at a time. Okay, so anyway, so yeah, you're hoping for insight. You're hoping for transcendence through inner knowledge. And sometimes, you know, that comes naturally from the universe. The universe gives us messages, but sometimes that's kind of like wishful thinking, almost thinking that there is some kind of outcome that will, you know, magically resolve everything and be the perfect answer and everything will make sense. And I think that we get kind of stuck in this kind of necessity for finding closure. And sometimes there is no closure. Sometimes things are open-ended, and sometimes they just never kind of, you know, become cohesive. So here is the Empress, and so this is going to be clarified. We have the Fool. So embarking on a new journey, new marriage for some of you, in which you are getting married, and there's this kind of honeymoon, new marriage experience. Also new groups of female friends, definitely with lots of positive female energy coming through to help you. Here is the next message. There is the Lovers. So yeah, definitely a lot of people are going to be getting married. And I think that there will be a lot of focus on that relationship for you as kind of the foundation from which you will build a lot in your life. So this obviously will take over your life. Other things will go to the wayside. And I feel like the message of a lot of women, supportive women. No, I think it's for both genders, both female and male people will have, you know, lots of female friends, lots of female energy, almost like sisterhood for some of you. But yeah, branching out in new directions, promoting happiness and joy in the things around you. I'm just going to take a little caveat because you guys hopefully have noticed that the Devil, the Death card, the Tower, and the Hanged Man have not come up yet. So I'm just giving you a heads up that they are going to come up in significant positions now. So you just want to make sure that you brace yourself. But we'll work with it. So far, this is very peaceful and a very tranquil reading. Here is your next message. Oh, here it comes in the Tower. So I think that there's a threat for you of loss this year. The loss comes from not trusting a relationship and having it fall apart, throwing too much negativity at it, being paranoid towards someone, and through that paranoia, creating something like a false idol in a situation, or someone kind of losing their nerve. I feel as though relationships sometimes are really about agreement. So if people form an agreement and form trust, then that's great. But if the trust is broken, then it's all about convincing yourself that something can work or it can't work. And so if you are fundamentally distrustful towards the probability of something working out, then it won't. And in 20 years, hindsight, you can say, oh, that could have actually really worked. But in that moment, you feel as though you're not ready, or that it's not the right opportunity. And so I feel as though there's a chance of too much doubt that will prevent you from pursuing options that are actually good for you. So I'm encouraging you to be more hopeful and more optimistic about the prospects. And then here's the Hanged Man. So I'm actually really glad they're in this position. This means that this year you're working through a lot of things. You know how I gave you your little warning? I was worried, but I'm glad that these cards came through here. I feel as though a necessary resolve or review of your mindset and your attitude towards things is necessary. I think that you have such a strong way of analyzing things and analyzing things for yourself that you may not necessarily be second guessed by people around you very easily. What happens with that is that by not being able to be second guessed, right, you might end up in some way avoiding a check that you should have. A check means like you're wrong, you know, someone pointing out that you're wrong. And sometimes that's a bad thing because that keeps you out of trouble. And so you want to make sure that you are constantly being self-critical or allowing for criticism as well. But I feel if you're dealing with any degree of paranoia, then that's a very hard place to be in, because where is the safe place to trust from? So maybe that's some of the conflating issues that are going on for you on a personal level, you know, and you are you need that stillness. I think you need that tranquility and that balance, and something that you can depend upon, something that's very kind of reinforced, always there for you, kind of like a routine of sort. And so you need that routine experience in order to trust something, so that you have enough stillness in your life moving through your day-to-day to be able to review from which place things are not have not worked out in the past. We all have stuff to work on, but I think that you are going to have a very thoughtful year. The past energy is the world. So there was great energy coming to you from the world, a great hope or opportunity that you were able to take. And then there's the Death card. So now we're kind of in the clear. We just need the Devil somewhere, the change. So yeah, fundamental change happened. It was released. There was an end to a situation. I felt like you had missed an opportunity, and I feel as though that's weighing on you as well. And if it feels like such a great opportunity that you had missed, that you are it's overweighing your current moments, so that when little things come through in your current moments, they seem like huge things because that you conflate them with the large opportunity you had lost. And so I got this really strongly in your horoscope reading as well, that the point of all this is not getting stuck in that moment, but rather accepting the little things that are setbacks, and those are true for all of us, and in some way, you know, allowing to move forward, accepting the little setbacks, that they're not actually a part of the great loss. And you know, most people go through a significant loss in the past, most people suffer significant losses in their life, and it's important to keep it in perspective, because it feels as though it's unique because of its size or if its significance. But in reality, we all go through losses. And we all go through losses, large and small. And so as quickly as possible, try to bridge your loss with the loss that other people experience in the world, to remind yourself that the little losses that you're suffering now are all a part of the regular way of doing things, and they're not necessarily so evil or so you know, huge. Here is the next message. We have the Emperor. So yeah, I feel as though you're getting married, you're finding a connection, There's a business arrangement that's really important for you. Financial prosperity, very big for 2018 in the horoscope reading as well. You also have the star, destiny coming into your life. This is also the card of Aquarius. So strong feelings of destiny, fatedness, soulmates coming through. I feel as though a real situation or a relationship is coming together very strongly for you. So the loss in the world, or the opportunity loss in the world, it could be a person or a situation, is actually so meager in comparison. It's just the reverberation of how it made you feel that feels so significant or causes you to doubt. Here is the next message we have. This is the Devil card, bondage. And so this happens at the first part of the year, so January through March or so, which is good because, I mean, this is the carryover from 2017, and with the eclipses, you can kind of rid yourself of that. The eclipses happen in your 10th house of career, so I do feel as though there's going to be a larger change. I talk about that more in the astrology reading, linked down below. And then home and family. So, you know, picking up slack and going in a new direction. Around you in the spring, so March through June or so, we have the Strength card. So this is the card of Leo. Personal fortitude, exerting a lot of effort into physical pursuits, you know, working hard, working out a lot, eating well. I feel as though there's this kind of focus on appearance for you. This came through in your second house in the horoscope reading. So I feel like attraction, physicality are really important. Maybe shopping a lot. Be careful with your spending habits. But yeah, looking nice, spending money on clothes and appearance is a big thing for you then. And then you slow down by the second quarter. So third quarter, which is from June till September or so. There's a slowdown, a reassessment that's in line with the retrograde periods of Saturn, Pluto, and Mars through your third and fourth house. You get a hold of yourself. So it's okay if you kind of pursue a little bit of an exuberant lifestyle in the springtime or through March through June, but then in the summer it'll get a little stale, and then you'll get into perspective. Like, if you want to maintain the balance of your relationship, you're gonna have to kind of get back on track and get focused. Your fourth card is the Magician. So this is for next winter time or fall, from October through December. And by the way, sorry to everybody in South America, you know, by all means, it's okay. So yeah, sorry about the so anyway, I'll let you guys adjust your seasons. I got distracted. I had a channeled message. Sometimes when I stutter or whatever, something came through really strongly. But in the fourth quarter, we have some level of from October to December, like making the right choice and seeing it pay off. So there's a positive consequence to whatever decisions that you've made, and you're pushing forward in a new direction. Okay, so your total outcome card, and this year I have held this back for the last card for all of the readings, is the Hermit. So ultimately you're coming into like a unique perspective on doing things slightly different than what you've been taught and what's been expected of you. This is kind of the Renegade card. I'm going to do things my own way, you know, and my way or the highway, that kind of thing. You know, and this is being free. This is the friendship token, so the hearts are not actually, they're just touching. So there's a deep friendship that you maybe start with yourself or with another person, or maybe this is the person with whom you're making these connections with. So I think the Sagittarius person is a person who will provide you a lot of sustenance. They care about you a lot, and they're very nurturing towards your needs. The oncoming energy is the water energy. So this is in your feelings. Cancer is a water card. So deeply in your feelings. And I feel as though the relationship that you're stepping into is deeply romantic. It's very like hand in hand. Everything's perfect. Honeymoon season in a big way. Let's get a token for it. Hey, let's pick one out. So I think this is Leo, so you might be forming a relationship with a Leo person or feeling passionate like Leo, like this is the right path or the right road. You just feel so confident about taking this route. Let's take a look at the moon with the Hanged Man. So yeah, that's your Scorpio nature that you're working through. So the moon is like, what is my actual feelings about the situation, kind of seeing doubt, paranoia, release and move on. So here is the Libra card. So the balance comes through the energy of Aries. So I would say that if you are somewhat unstable and feel off kilter, the balance is going to come by the time the sun moves into Aries, which is not too long. I think it's March, right? March to April or so. Definitely that improvement. Again, feminine energy is really important. I would expect you to have a lot of interaction with women. Maybe later on in the year, there's more yang energy around you. Let's see your sun. Hold on. So the sun is the earth. So yeah, I told you guys this, the practical physical realm of groundedness is definitely where you find a lot of balance, change about love, change about what you love, how you express love, what is love to you. I really want to see this strength card. Yeah, so you're taking chances. I've told you this in the horoscope reading, that you will be taking a chance. There will be many chances that you take, especially towards material wealth. And some of them are going to be kind of duds. They may cost you a little, but I feel as though you're looking for something and you can sense it. You know there's a good deal in there somewhere, and I think that you will find one. And I think that, yeah, so the marriage token came up for this. I think this is settling down into marriage in August through the end of the year, or maybe August came through as the channeled message, but it could be June through the end of the year, the second half of the year. Let's see. I got Pluto again. So the energy of Pluto, this could be a Scorpio energy with the water, but then there's Leo and Scorpio energy. Those are both fixed signs. But this is really nice, the friendship and the marriage and love. So I feel as though you're getting a little bit of both. Or maybe this is someone entirely new who expresses both lessons of the past, you know? You get both. And I think that what you're hoping for is a balance between the feminine and masculine energies in your life. Let's see this bondage card, what it says. What do we hear? Okay, so we have the sacral chakra. So, you know, you're being too carnal. You're being too within your reproductive system. I think that in a certain sense, yeah, you're kind of, you lose track of that. And I think that maybe through that is some kind of like, you hit the nail on the head. You get it right. Even though it doesn't make sense why it would go that way, just trust your body, trust your instincts. And this came through so many times. So this is the heart chakra, right? So yeah, love's coming into your life. There will be a deep, I think you're looking for some kind of water sign connection. And then here we have the south node, and the south node will move between Aquarius and Cancer. Not Aquarius and Capricorn this year. So this is at the same time as maybe it's transiting. This kind of catharsis and releasing the past will happen, enabling you to open up forward. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this reading. Happy New Year, you guys. And I will talk with you guys soon. Check out my astrology reading and the Vimeo horoscope reading in the About section below. Take care. Bye, Scorpio. Hi Scorpio, and thank you for joining me, and welcome to this reading for January through June 2018. So it's like a half year astrology overview. I just find the whole year overview way too much information for people, so I've summarized major transits next year into like a nice 15-minute format. I hope that that helps you. This is not meant to be an exhaustive list. It's just meant to help with the tarot reading or readings that will be published on YouTube with this. So all the tarot readings are going to be linked in the About section below, but specifically I'm going to be posting the year overview in the About section, so look down below for that. And then also I am posting a horoscope tarot reading on Instagram and on YouTube, and I will be clarifying each of the houses here of the zodiac with an independent reading on Vimeo that you guys can rent and check out. So pretty exciting stuff. And then if you guys would like, then I once the post on Instagram reaches 500 hearts, then I will begin posting the individual houses available on YouTube for free. So if you want to save some money and you don't want to rent, hold on tight and wait until the Instagram post reaches 500 hearts, and yeah, we can just watch. You can watch for free. But if you do want to support me in the channel, I haven't been doing too many fundraisers or anything like that, so so you can do that through renting a few videos or a series or something. So yeah, definitely a good way to support me. Okay, so that's the astrology intro. And now let's talk through the major transits. Like I said, it's not an exhaustive list. It's meant to be just a very fast overview on what's happening next year. So first off, we start off the year with a really big event. On January 31st, we have a full moon total eclipse in Leo. This is in your 10th house of career. This is a culmination point. So this means whatever you've been working towards is going to bear fruit. But if something's not working in your career, then it's going to come through. Eclipses, full moon eclipses, eclipse things out. So expect that to happen for you. It's also conjunct the South Node. So anything that you've been karmically entangled with, anything you can't really shake in your life with regard to your career, this is a wonderful time to actually get rid of it and let it go. The new moon eclipse happens in your 4th house of home and family in mid-February, February 15th in Aquarius. So this means that you're going to be bringing something new into the home and new into the family. This is a wonderful time to buy a new home, that kind of thing. And it's far away enough from the Mercury retrograde that this is a wonderful time to kind of make some plans in new directions with regard to home and family life. Okay, and then from March until midsummer, July 10th, Jupiter will go retrograde in your 1st house. For some of you, this is going to be a break. Sometimes Jupiter can be a lot in the 1st house, and especially in Scorpio, it tends to have that property of being overwhelming. So you're going to have a bit of a break between March and July when Jupiter goes retrograde, but still it's going to bring you benefits and long-term success. When Jupiter moves forward again, you'll have more opportunity to bring in that which you want and start the new cycle for the next 12 years. And then we have Mercury retrograde, and Mercury retrograde I think will happen in Aries, right? So this is in your 6th house of service and health. This is a definite time to be careful on taking on new exercise routines. Very easy to misunderstand stuff and get hurt in the process. So between March 22nd and April 15th, you want to take it easy. Also, you might want to not take on new commitments towards other people during this time. You might find yourself kind of getting into something that you're not necessarily prepared to deal with. Venus moves into Taurus, which is in your 7th house, and in rulership on March 31st. This is a wonderful month to do with relationships and partnerships and improving your relationships with others, particularly in romance and in business. Next, we see Mercury. Is it Mercury? No, Chiron's moving into Aries. Yes, that's right. So let me show you the chart for that. And this is also in your 6th house. So Scorpio, this is an important transit that's going to last about 7 years. And so in this area of your life, you definitely want to be careful with how you're eating, how you are taking care of yourself, because those things are going to come up, particularly if you have Chiron in Aries. So if you were born between 1972, I think, and 76, or something in the early 70s, early to mid 70s, this will be a transit that will really hit home for you. And so, yeah, you want to be mindful of that. We only get a taste of that in 2018. In fact, most of this transit will be in 2019 onward, because Chiron is about to go retrograde in the fall and pop back into Pisces before moving forward again. So in April, from April till about September, you're going to get a little peek at what it's going to be like for the next several years. Get used to it, adjust to it, adjust your health regimen and schedule. Mercury has gone direct on April 15th, right? So this is the time to move forward on improving your health. Now, this is the real showstopper for 2018. 2019 and 2020. We have 4 planets here in Capricorn. This is in your 3rd house, so overall you get a bit of a hall pass with this. You don't necessarily have such a difficult transit, but it can be. I mean, 3rd house is the house of communication. It's the house of manifestation, which is ruled by Mercury. But we have 4 major players in this area of your chart. And the whole world is going to be impacted by this transit. I feel the most difficult part of this transit is 2018, because Lilith is here and creating a conjunction with Pluto. Now, Lilith at this time is already in Capricorn. She takes about 8 to 10 months to transit a sign. So Lilith is moving up on Pluto, and I would just remind you of the time between August and September last year when Lilith was with Saturn. Now, the modality or the quality of the conjunction, when the 2 aspects are together, is different this year than last year, but you can remember the kind of disarray and hardship that people went through around the world, not just on a personal level. With this combination. So what seems like a good deal may not be, especially with Lilith. And it's like, oh, Lilith, that's my tone just reminded me of that. But yeah, so with the Pluto conjunction with Lilith, I feel like it could be a little bit of a bullying situation, and make sure that you're not the bully. Just overwhelmingly strong presence. Relationships with brothers and sisters can become really chaotic as well. But Saturn is going to go retrograde during this conjunction, and thank goodness. That means that the pressure of Saturn in your 3rd house is going to ease between April 17th and September 6th. So we'll talk about this more in the second video, the second astrology video for July through September. But just as a foreshadow, Saturn, Mars, and Pluto are all going to move direct within 4 weeks of each other in this area of your chart. So that you'll have a big push in your life between August and September of 2018. But for now, they're all starting to begin their retrograde motion. Saturn eases off, gives us a little room to breathe. Pluto will go retrograde. Let's see if I have this. Pluto will go retrograde on the 22nd of April and be retrograde until September 30th. And then finally Mars. Where's Mars? Mars is going to go retrograde here in Aquarius, but we'll dip back into Capricorn and go direct on August 27th. So this is a real important area of your chart. And the nodes are, the south node is impacted, as the south node is actually moving in retrograde motion, always retrograde, right, for the nodes. And so next year, the south node will be a huge component of this conjunction between Saturn, Pluto, and whichever other planet is coming in. And in 2020, Jupiter will be. But that's just a lot of forward-thinking astrology here. So in the meantime, you want to be focused on this energy, because these are really warlike planets, planets that deal with karma, external karma, internal karma, and yeah, disruption, demons, and all those things in your third house. If you have a sibling, maybe you're laughing to yourself that demon comment. But yeah, hopefully it's not like that. Try not to fear-monger yourself too much. Try not to believe too many negative things. If you start feeling really obsessed negatively towards a sibling, then maybe you want to give it some time, definitely after September, to pass judgment on those feelings and emotions. Better to just remove yourself for the time being than engage in any kind of altercation or discussion, okay? So here is Uranus moving into Taurus in May 15th, and this is your 7th house of partnerships. So this is a really nice transit. Unexpected partnerships teach you new things about the world and yourself in it. They challenge the status quo of who you are in the world. Now in 2018, Uranus is going to create a nice T-square between the South Node and the North Node. The South Node represents your spiritual source, what you are letting go of past generations, and the North Node represents the direction that you're taking with your life. So this spiritual duality, I would say, is creating a stress point on Uranus in the 7th house, but this is creating some kind of catharsis or a challenge to the status quo, because Uranus is going to bring in partners who are unorthodox. They're going to make you challenge what you believe to be true, and through that you will find growth. So even though it's a T-square, it is a challenging aspect. It's not going to necessarily be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful, but it's not necessarily always going to be easy. But it's going to be very much a part of shifting things that were stuck. You know, so, and things to do for you. This is a big aspect because it's in your 7th house of partnership, and then your 10th house of career, and your home life. So releasing home, traditional values, traditional belief and mindset, and moving forward into who you want to be in the world. And that really kind of being teeter-tottering. It makes me think of a teeter-totter or like I think it's called a teeter-totter on top of the point of Uranus. So maybe there's a person who comes in who challenges the status quo. Before you know it, you're in a partnership with someone who's completely different than anything you've expected, and yet it's freeing you up. So that relationship may not last. It might be the relationship for the rest of your life, but whether that's less of the issue. The point is that this relationship or partnership, be it romantic or business, is going to really help you transcend blockages. Wonderful transit for that. Love being Scorpio right now and hearing this. This is good news. You guys should give me a thumbs up. Okay, so the last transit I wanted to mention is Neptune going retrograde in your 5th house. Now 5th house is the hedonistic house, and Neptune is all about the drink. So so if you do have any kind of drinking stuff going on, then you want to be careful with these types of transits. Neptune, it's a big planet. It represents a lot of different things, and I think it represents different things to every person. And so you really want to be mindful about what it represents to you. And what I've been telling all the signs is take a look at your at your romantic life. Take a look at 2017, 2016, and see what was happening when Neptune was retrograde. I think that Neptune retrograde is very specific to each individual, and it's based on your chart. So you can get an astrologer like me to help you clarify by looking at your entire chart in detail, or you can look back at the previous years and see what was the general energy around the area of happiness, around the area of romance, while Neptune was retrograde in the past. And Neptune is retrograde for about 5 months out of the year, which means that it's easy to spot. It's about half the year, right? Or 40% of the year. Not to get too specific. But Neptune is going retrograde on June 18th and will stay in retrograde until November 24th. So just look at your general energy levels through various different times when this was happening. This year it's nice because Chiron's moved on right, into Aries. So Neptune's on his own, so you really see the full growth of that energy. You get the full benefit of it as well. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for watching. See, 15 minutes or less, and I will talk with you soon. Take care. Check out my tarot card reading down below. Hey Scorpio, and thank you for joining me, and welcome to this overview reading for 2018. So this is your preview video. I'm going to post this video to Vimeo and to YouTube, so wherever you're watching it, welcome. The original post was on Instagram featuring a horoscope spread you will see in a moment. I'll actually show you that now. So it's right over here. So this was on Instagram, so maybe you found that through this. It started off as an Instagram post, and then as I kind of worked it out through the signs, it just became this. So this is what we're doing. So this is a supplement reading for the astrology and the tarot reading for 2018. It's a rental on Vimeo as I clarify each of the houses of this horoscope spread in a separate video. So if you want to find out about specific areas of your life, then you want to maybe rent a video on Vimeo. If the original post on Instagram reaches 500 hearts, then I will give you guys the opportunity to see some of these videos for free on YouTube. So if you don't want to spend the money, hold on to your money, and hopefully sooner than later I'll be able to release some of those videos, okay? So for this reading, what I'm doing is I'm showing you guys what to expect in each of the other houses. This is the reading for the center card, which is the general theme for the whole year. So you can get an idea of what to expect and what you're going to see in each of the separate videos. I'm going to be clarifying with a beautiful deck. This is the Tarot de Baleine. It's a deck I use every single year around this time. It was a gift. It's an out-of-print deck, and it's really beautiful. It's actually really old. And some of the meanings and associations are different than contemporary decks, so be patient with that. I do recognize sometimes if I feel inclined to the different interpretations, so just go along with it. I find it gives great readings. Then I'm going to do a clarifier with the angel answers. I'll explain how I'm going to do that. And here on the side is my chest, which I had been using last year a lot, so we're going to pick a clarifier with that. So let's begin the reading. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoy this spread. So your first card is the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is the card of Jupiter, and so Jupiter is of course in your sign until November, so the majority of 2018. Luck, opportunity, and hope are coming into your life. Life is improving. Some people say that the Wheel of Fortune brings great improvements, but also detriment to you in your life. And so this change in fortune might be positive or negative, and in fact I interpret it as usually a positive change. I think that organically life is always improving, right? And so so I think that the overall theme of your life this year has to do with improvement, progress, personal development, and growth. So what I'm going to do for each of these tarot cards, this is the Thoth Tarot, by the way. People always ask me, and it's one of the most popular decks in tarot. So it's the Thoth deck. Okay, so I picked 3 cards by the Tarot de Baleine. Okay, let's take a look at that. Okay, so here is your first card. We have the Two of Wands. So this is, soutien dans l'entreprise. I don't know what soutien means. I forget. Sometimes I remember that word, sometimes I don't. So as you can see, this deck is in French, but my French is terrible. I did study French for a long time, and I can understand a lot, but I think that it's probably good luck in enterprises and business. But the Two of Wands is a change in perspective and taking things in stride and changing your perspective about things, opening up to different possibilities, to hope, you know, all those positive things. The next card is the Isis Urane. This is the card of the mother, or it's the card of the wife. This is the creative principle, the yin energy. So I feel as though overall this year you are really stepping into this maternal feminine energy that is taking you to good directions with where you want to see your life go. Here is the next message. We have the Six of Pentacles. This is, for me, always the card of reciprocity. So oftentimes it's stressed as the card in which we focus on growth or giving to others or receiving from others. But I feel as though that the message here is actually about being in balance with giving and taking, not with one specific person, but with everyone in your life. So this is a close-knit relationship to your mother, maybe changing perspectives about your mother's experiences, women's experiences in general, compassion and growth and understanding, and really kind of stepping into a greater sense of financial balance as well. So after I pick the 3 cards from the Tarot de Baleine, I'll pick also a card from the Angel Answers Oracle. You can put a question in your mind at this point. These are very simple yes and no answers, okay? So here is your card, Abundance, a wonderful message. So I do feel as though this is going to be a financially abundant year, but more so than that, you should see abundance coming through in various different aspects of your life. There is kind of a lot going on in your 3rd house of communication. So the more healthier communication that you embrace, the better you will be. And then you have also your card, the Death card, in the 3rd house. And so you are putting a lot of energy into communication and bringing things about through communication, through the making things happen the way that you want to see them. So here is your final clarifier using the Thoth deck from the chest. We have the 9 of Coins, which is Venus in Virgo. So this is wealth, opportunity, growth. I feel as though, Scorpio, you are just going to be in the money in a big way. And there's going to be a lot of financial wealth that is coming to you. Maybe even as far as November or December when Jupiter moves into your 2nd house of money. But I feel like that's the general temperament of the year for you. You should be excited and congratulations. I will talk with you soon, and stay tuned for the 1st house next, or check it out in the videos down below. Thank you so much. Bye. Hi Scorpio, thank you for joining me and welcome to this reading for the latter part of 2018. And so in this reading we're going to review the first reading that we did for the whole year for 2018, and then we're going to supplement it with a focal reading for the latter part of 2018. So in this reading we see the reading for the whole year, and I'll go over this for you a little bit, but if you want to see the whole reading, then just go into the Scorpio playlist and I will explain it in detail as I read it. So it's the Scorpio 2018 Varouche playlist. You can find it in the description, or you can find it by searching it out on Google or on a YouTube search. Okay, so I feel as though the core energy is about you attaining balance this year. So you need to find a balance, or you're looking for a balance between variable different things. There's been a significant amount of change, and Jupiter has come into Scorpio in 2017, which has led your life in a new direction. I feel as though maybe you're embarking on a new relationship, one that makes you feel quite beautiful. I know I kind of am missing her head here, but this is the Empress. So there is a loving energy that is around you at this time, and that loving energy will carry you forward. In fact, I feel as though you're looking for a fated relationship to come forward. This little token is the water token. So maybe you're looking for a water sign person. Maybe you're looking for a husband, the Emperor, or you're looking to be a husband. This is the Chariot card in this deck, which represents this could be a Cancer person that you're interested in. Below the surface, there's a really fundamental change. You can't see it here, but this is the Tower card. So on a personal level, there continues to be change while you're waiting for other people to adjust their perspective, to change their point of view, and to move forward in new directions. You find a lot of happiness this year. This is the Sun, and this is your card for the year, so this is quite positive. And I feel as though you're careful deliberation and careful combination of influences around you leads you to success this year. And the outcome card is the Hermit card with a nice friendship token here. So this means that you will find maybe some type of friendship with a Virgo, or possibly you yourself will go on some kind of spiritual quest and find some kind of friend who resonates for you through that process. So these two cards represent the first part of the year, so I won't talk about them here, but if you want me to talk about them in more explicitly, check out that first reading for 2018. That's the one with the big purple dot. The oncoming energy is the last judgment card. That's right, which means that you'll pick a destination, and then you will work towards getting there. And then finally you'll have the outcome of the Magician. So you'll bring about certain outcomes, certain deliverables that are going to create for you the destination that you are aiming for. So it's a very successful year for you so far. And now we're going to take a look at the latter part of the year, which covers the months July to December. But if you're watching this before, it's still hopefully informative and gives you some perspective about the direction that things are going to. I'm going to lay down all 22 Arcana cards in this spread, and then I will clarify with the Lenormand cards, okay? All right, let's have a see. Let's look and see. Okay. Your first card is the Justice card. And then we have the Hanged Man. And then we have the Empress. And then we have the Wheel. And then we have the Death card. And then we have the Lovers. And then we have the Priestess. Okay, so those are the cards for this year. So we have the Justice card, initiating, and then you will have some kind of transcendent understanding through an oracle. So there will be an oracle who gives you enlightenment regarding a matter or situation. I feel as though there is strong feminine energy with you. You yourself can become a mother this year, or possibly there could be some type of personal transformation. Also, your mother becomes very important for you this year. There is also the Devil. This can also represent a wife or a sister or a cousin as well. The Devil, and then we have the Magician. Okay, and then we have the Moon, and then we have the World, and then we have the Emperor, and then we have the Fool, and then we have the Tower. That's a pretty potent card to get in this position, but I'll tell you guys about that in just a moment. Then we have the Judgment. It's about the sequence of the cards, because you'll see all the cards come through. Then we have the Star. Then we have the Hermit. Okay. And then we have the Sun. And then we have the Chariot. And then we have the Temperance card. And then we have the Faith card. And then we have the Strength card as the outcome. So this is your personal card for the year. And I think this came up for you. Where did it come from? It came up for you very strongly in the springtime. So this is when you probably will step into this energy a lot more. You're going to be realigning what is important to you and the things that you want to highlight about yourself in your life. I feel as though you're taking a certain decision and making a decision towards making fundamental changes. I feel as though you're making careful deliberation to fundamentally change your life, and I feel as though this is a slow process that is happening for you at this time. I feel as though there is a big and you feel enticed to make a certain decision, a really big decision, but I feel as though you've almost fetishized that decision, so that decision in one way or another is not necessarily responding to an organic experience. It's not your lifestyle anymore. And I feel like maybe you're drawing away or creating distance between yourself and someone who's one of your soulmates. So one of your soulmates is in fact being removed from your life for the time being, but I'm a person who believes that there are many soulmates and many directions. It's important for you to draw in on a personal level and make certain conclusions about your life. You may choose to do some travel this year or change where you are living. There could be also a lot of illumination to long-standing question marks or things that you are not clear on from the past. So there could be like more information that you gain from, more information and insight that you gain that will inform you and lead you to new directions, okay? I feel like overcoming latent and long-term obstacles is going to be very rewarding for you this year. You're going to have a great feeling of power and a great deal of fulfillment from drawing in on those energies. I feel like it's important for you to make gentle decisions this year and carefully weigh out the pros and cons as you make directions into, as you take directions, make way into new directions towards your future. And I feel as though it's important for you to be confident about the directions that you are going, but still make them gently and kind of in the privacy of your own space. This could be a time in which you finish your education or finish in alignment with a certain group of people. I think maybe you're moving on towards something that is more trustworthy. There's a relationship that is very important for you. It's a family relationship. It's a one-on-one relationship. It could be romantic, but it can also be, platonic or in the space of some type of family relationship that is very important for you right now. I feel that you need to spend a lot of time with your dreams. Spend time with your dreams so that you understand what they mean and how they influence you. You're going to have a lot of clarity about the directions that you are taking in your life and the prospects that are available to you. Okay, I feel as though the main point here is that you will find enlightenment about the directions that you need to go in your life, and those directions are going to be illuminated through your subconscious. So you need to really honor that and use that to gain information, valuable information about your life. I feel as though there is someone who is influencing circumstances or helping them along. There could be someone who is spellcasting around you, or someone who is in some way trying to bring about certain outcomes by manipulating energy. Now, this can be positive, something like Reiki, but it can be something that has its own aims. And so if you feel as though you're being manipulated, make sure that you learn proper cleansing and clearing energy techniques, right? There's also a great energy that you're leaving behind, in which you had, in a certain way, aligned yourself passionately towards something that was unhealthy for you. It could have been behavior, it could have been a habit, but I think you're making a decision to leave that behind, and I think that you're working throughout the year to attain more balance for yourself in your life. So now I'm going to pick some cards from the Gilded Reverie Lenormand. Let's take a look at those cards here. Okay. So your central card is the Scythe. So this will lead to a fundamental change in your world or in your life. This is the core card, which is the World card. So I feel as though the things as they are changing fundamentally for you. Where you live will change. With whom you live will change. Things are going to shift and adjust, but hopefully for a positive direction. Let's pick a next card. So I picked this for the Emperor here. So I feel as though there's going to be continual messages that come to you from someone. It could be a business partner, or it could be a family member, someone like a patriarch, or maybe your husband. So I feel like there's going to be there could be even a third party conveying information between you and he, or you and her if it's a woman. It could very well be a woman. Now let's see what's going on with the Death card and this area. So there's certain restrictions that you can't get through and you can't get past, and you're getting sort of entangled in a web of bureaucracy. That's what's coming through really, really strong. Let's see what this Tower is. It's ominous in this position here because this is really your outcome for the year. So you have a Garden. So rather than align yourself with one thing, I think that you're going to turn towards variety and turn towards choosing between a lot of different options to see if you can find a better outcome for yourself. Then we have the Hierophant as the outcome. So education, maybe a different course in education, a new spiritual practice. It'll bring you a lot of happiness, support, and positive direction. Let's see the Temperance card here. So a decision is going to be made, and there's going to be a Sagittarius who sends to you vital information that's going to be of importance to you. That vital information will influence you to be more diverse in the way that you approach things. Let's modify the Strength card. And so we have the Compass. So I think this year really looks like you are taking a certain direction away from things of the past that are here. That's why I'm focusing on this area, because this is more July moving forward. So I feel like you're taking a certain direction, but first you have to figure out which direction you're taking and why. And I feel as though you're doing a lot of work here to maybe get realigned, possibly to kind of listen, to pay attention to what your environment is telling you, to let go of someone or something, and then move forward towards new opportunities and new directions. And I feel like you're pretty excited about it. I feel like you're the one who's initiating this change, and I feel like the new directions you're going, it's like the happy unknown, you know, completely a reset, completely in a new direction. And so the Fool, here we have the advice of the Fool is that you should probably take a closer look at what you're getting yourself into. This really looks like an event horizon, whereas you're moving towards a point at which you can't really see what's going to happen once you get there. You can't really kind of understand the point through which it's going to get there, right? Then we have the Lovers card, which represents good luck and fortune and opportunity coming into your life. And I feel like this happens through family connections, primary connections. I feel as though your greater circles are really in need of a reset at this time. So your social circles need a bit of a change. But I feel like you don't mind. I feel like you're very in this kind of moving forward energy, excited about the prospects that 2018 will bring up for you, the directions that you are taking, the people you will meet, the new opportunities that come up for you. And so you're heading towards those directions and you're quite excited about them. I'm going to pick an extra card because I feel like I'll pick just a card for the Magician here, just to give you guys one for here. And we have the Lilies. So someone who's very wise steered you in a particular direction, and now you're moving past those things from the past and then moving towards new and exciting opportunities. Scorpio, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful 2018. If you want to check out your other 2018 readings, including the astrological overview for July through December, go into the playlist for Scorpio 2018 Varouche, or go for a Google search / a YouTube search and find the Varouche 2018 playlist. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Hi everyone, thank you for joining me and welcome to this reading for your horoscope spread on the Instagram post. So I didn't do a proper intro, or at least I didn't figure out how to link everything through to Vimeo from Instagram. Instagram doesn't allow for clickable links yet, so it's very hard to kind of direct you guys in the direction of the house clarifier readings. So I'm going to just attach this to the videos in which I didn't explain this for you guys. So this is why you're watching this intro. So basically this video is a sample of what you can find on Vimeo. This is a reading connected to my Instagram post for the horoscope spread for 2018, in which I read for each of the houses of your horoscope for your natal sign, and made a separate video for each house to clarify what kind of energies you should expect for 2018. Okay, so those videos are now available on Vimeo for rent. And this is a sample video that shows the center card for that horoscope spread and what you will expect in each of the videos. It's the same format for every single one. So because we couldn't link through from Instagram, we're going to show you a sample here, and down below you can find the direct links for all of the houses for your sign. So stay tuned, and now you are going to watch the video that I taped for the center card in each of the horoscope spreads. Now if you don't want to rent the video, by the time that this video reaches, or the Instagram post reaches 500 hearts, I will be releasing some of the videos, if not all, on YouTube. So you can hold on tight, and when that post reaches 500 hearts, then I'll be able to release that for you guys on YouTube. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for your sign. Happy 2018. I'm sure you're hearing it a lot. But anyway, thank you so much. Bye. Hi Sagittarius, and thank you for joining me, and welcome to this 2018 overview here. This is your overview, in-depth overview of your astrological reading that you probably found on my Instagram. So just to give you an overview, if you haven't seen it, this is the astrological chart for your sign for the 2018. I will go into depth on all 13 of these cards using the Tarot de Baleine, as well as the Angel Answers Oracle cards from Doreen Virtue. So we're going to start with the High Priestess, which is our overview energy. This is also the energy that we saw come through in the main reading on YouTube. So this is your energy for the year of 2018, which is a lot of foresight, insight, intuition. And we're going to go into every single card. I do have my chest over here, which you guys probably know if you've been watching my channel for a while. Then I haven't brought this out in a while, but if we need an extra clarifier, I'll pull that out as well. So why don't we begin the reading? I'm just going to collect all the cards in order so that we can begin. So I'm not sure how it's going to be organized yet 100%, but I think that I will be offering this video for rent on Vimeo, and then if I get a certain amount of likes, then I will do the video, make the video available for free, or parts of the video on YouTube. So if you're watching this on any one of these platforms, then just thank you for supporting me and my channel. And if it's already available on YouTube, feel free to go over to video and rent it if you feel like you've gained something. Okay, so your general overview reading is the High Priestess for the 2018 season. This means that there is a great emphasis on insight and intuition into the directions of your life, thinking about what the main theme or what the main energy you're meant to go, kind of esoteric approaches to things, as opposed to really worldly opinions and things that you're trying to achieve. This year is really spiritual for you. Jupiter is returning home to Sagittarius in November, so it's a big lead up to that, and especially for your sign, that's a really important transit, because of course you're Sagittarius and Jupiter is your ruler. So it's about things coming home. Why don't we pick some cards, some tarot cards, to clarify the message of the High Priestess? Maybe I'll do a 3-card draw. We have the King of Pentacles. Here he's Scorpio. That's an interesting way of interpreting this card. And so this is the king, this is the man brown, whatever that means. And next we have the Queen of Cups. So she represents also maternal energies and love. Here she's the sign of Cancer and Mercury. Here is the next message. These cards are very old, so they have slightly different interpretations. The outcome is the Lovers, and so there is a family connection, a love-based relationship that is happening here with regard to the High Priestess. So there's loving and helpful energy, love coming together. We saw this come through in the December 2017 reading on YouTube. This King of Pentacles started showing up for you a lot, and so I would suspect that you guys are welcoming in some kind of energy, and this Queen of Cups could very well be you. Otherwise, there is also the Lovers that represents union, family together. And so you see the bigger picture. In 2018, it looks as though you're really kind of forming family with someone and falling in love. Now, I want to pick angel answers for every single position as well. So you guys, if you have a question in mind, then then feel free to ask it now and get that answer. If you have something that comes up as you're watching this, then please put that in your mind. Here is your card. If you're not ready, then pause this part of the video, because obviously it will be a spoiler. But your general answer, these are very simple, quick answers, yes and no, is get more information. So something's not quite clear as to what is happening yet, but try to seek out more information on the situation that is around you. And in particular, if you are dealing with a earth sign male, then possibly this is a time when you want to get more information. So why don't we look into my chest? I'll move this over here for you guys now. So this chest I used a lot in 2016, so I don't use it so much right now. I will though. So here is another clarifier. This is obviously the Rider-Waite. Sorry that it's upside down. I don't honor reversals. It's just the first time I've picked from it. So careful movement forward, slow progress. This is cautioning you, saying that there is some kind of love relationship, but it's important for you to really mind your time and go slow. So please go slow, Sagittarius, and I think you'll be fine. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for the first house. Hi Sagittarius, thank you for joining me and welcome to this reading for 2018. This is your overview higher arcana reading. This is a reading I've done on YouTube for a really long time now, and I hope you guys are excited. I'm going to do the reading with the Tarot Oracle, which is one of our favorite decks. It's so bright and happy and colorful, and in November Jupiter's moving into your sign, so that's gonna match up well. I'm also going to clarify with the tokens, yes, backed by popular demand. You guys love them, so I've brought them. And then on Instagram I'm going to post another reading, the astrological wheel with all the houses there. So that will be linked in the About section when this video is posted. I hope you guys are just as excited about 2018 as I am, and I look forward to reading for you guys and your continued support. I hope you guys have a happy new year, and all your life's needs are met, okay? So thank you guys so much for watching. Let's begin the video. So I'm going to just go slow this time. I'm not going to lay out all the cards all together at once. This reading uses all the higher arcana, which are the cards from the upper part of the tarot card deck. 22 cards will be used. So you'll see the Death card, you'll see the Tower come through, you'll see all the cards come through, and I'll explain everything for you guys as we go along, okay? So it's a bit of a stripped down reading, but it's going back to the roots, getting back to the roots of it all, okay? So here is your first card, the main energy of 2018. Are you guys ready? Drum roll, please. And we have the energy of the moon, yearning or desire. So this is a beautiful message. Intuition guides you throughout 2018 in the directions that you are going. By the way, your astrological reading is available in the About section below. If you want to follow along with the astro transits for this year, that will be available for you in the description, so you guys can kind of see what the astrology is. Each video is only 15 minutes long, so it's a really brief overview. The reason I'm mentioning this is that there is an emphasis in your 4th house in Pisces that rules the moon, and also a big transit in your 12th house, which is the house of Pisces, which is ruled by Neptune, also to do with dreams and the moon. So at the end of it all, dealing with everything that has to do with your intuition, what your intuition is calling upon you to do, etc., is kind of what you're supposed to do in 2018. Sorry if I say 2017. I've been so used to saying 2017 over and over again, but this is 2018 for Sagittarius. So your main energy is intuition, and that already came up in December's reading as well, and in your astrology. There's a two-parter in terms of your advice for this time. Get grounded in the 2nd house. You'll see that in the astrological reading. And then there's this kind of intuitive component. Trust your intuition. Make the changes that are necessary before November, when Jupiter moves into your 1st house in Sagittarius. So just understand the deeper meanings of things. Also, huge transit in your 3rd house, which is to do with your source energy, your home, your family histories, right until the late fall in 2018. So this means that you're releasing karma, and sometimes our logic fails us where our intuition soars. So if you feel that things are coming through, inspirational things, truths that you don't quite remember but you know something's there, this is the year to really kind of clear out that energy. That energy is coming through really strong for you in 2018. 2018, can you believe it? By the way, you're the first sign I'm reading for. This is my guinea pig reading, so you guys will get a lot of extra information, more time I think than the other signs. So anyway, and more kind of unpolished commentary. Here is your crossing card for 2018, the Emperor, which is the static energy, the masculine influence, divine masculine crossing the moon. So the moon represents the divine feminine. There's 3 cards in the higher arcana that represent the divine feminine, and so the Emperor is the antithesis of that, the complete opposite card. Now the Emperor represents that it's a time to get grounded, that 2nd house transit with Pluto, Saturn, and I think Mars, especially particularly in September, when Saturn, Pluto, and Mars go direct in your 2nd house of money. Big push in terms of financial wealth, so you need to spend a good 6 months getting ready for that change. So really get ready and firm within the changes that you are making. There's a call to action for you to move forward in those directions. The next card is Sagittarius, the card of temperance. This is your card, balance and harmony. Now this is to do with your public life, your outward manifestation of energy. We have the temperance card, which means that this year is about refusing that divine feminine and masculine that have parted. So the Lover's card oftentimes is referred to as the break apart point between the feminine and the masculine energy, and Sagittarius, or the Temperance card, is the point at which they come together again. So you have the rejoining energy, and this is greater than, your relationship that may have failed you in 2017 or something like that. This might have to do with coming back home, reconciling your karma, all the hang-ups you have with your family, all the hang-ups that you have as a consequence of growing up, and finding the appropriate person that is that perfect match for you, that person that is the perfect alignment to that which you need. But it takes a lot of self-work, a lot of self-understanding, willingness to take a look at all your stuff, and a willingness to make changes in your life for the better. Let's see what's below the surface. This is what you seem like. This is also a very creative year for Sagittarius. A lot of opportunity to break away, go a different direction, create something new, really impress the world with your ingenuity, with your imagination. Below the surface, what people aren't seeing as the personal strength. Now, this already started coming up for you guys in December 2017. Remember, Saturn was in your first house for 2.5 years in Sagittarius. Now it's moved into your second house of finances. So you need to take finances seriously this year. But the Strength card is that personal courage, fortitude. To me, the Strength card is even less about personal strength, open heart and courage, but more so finding within yourself that which you truly are and being authentic to it. So it's like searching in 2018 for who you truly are and finding the seat of that and moving forward to being that which you were always meant to be. So that shows off, maybe show off a little bit. That shows to other people like easy disposition. You know, you make it look easy and make it look fun. However, I think on a personal level, it's a really hard process in which you identify within yourself that which you are and you authentically move towards that. The North Node for half the year is in your 9th house, which is your identity. You know, identity starts in the mind. The 10th house is more identity on an outward appearance level, but on a personal level, your thoughts, your ideas about the world, etc., are formed in the 9th house. And so that's where the North Node is transiting this year for the most part, right until November. And so you're kind of saying, what do I believe in? You know, what are the antiquated things I believe that no longer serve me? What direction am I taking my life? Is that who am I and what do I want out of life? That's the big question, and it comes through strongly in the moon energy. You won't be able to get away from it. You're very susceptible to lunar transits. I would really recommend watching for your lunar sign as well. The moon this year in 2018 in particular will give us huge information about where we are in life. So as there's really specific transits. There's a T-square on Uranus off of the nodes. That's a huge transit. I talked about that in the astrological overview, so check that out. There's a massive stellium that's going to be forming over the next 2 years in Capricorn in your second house in the financial sector. And there's a lot going on in Pisces and even in early Aries. So there's a lot of these condensed energy. The energy is not necessarily as separate as it was before. Now the big planets are coming together and forming what's called the stellium. And so as these planets come together, there's a focal point of energy in specific areas of our life. And with the moon transiting through those areas, it makes us feel it. And it's through our emotions, through feeling what it is that is going on, that we have the best advice or insight into what we need to do. So it's that insight and intuition about what we really need to do with ourselves, particularly in your second house of money, where that stellium of Capricorn is happening. Lots of planets lining up for 2020 with a focal point in your second house of money, that you really need to bring attention to who you are right now. And the lunar transit allows you to identify that identity so you can get that foundation really firm, and then you can make long-term plans. Now that stellium in Capricorn is going to affect the entire world. There's going to be large world events that happen over the next 2 years, particularly in 2020, the whole year. Huge groundbreaking transformations, just phenomenal things, and an aspect to Uranus. I don't know, it's going to be monumental, something completely different than anything we've seen before. So we have these massive transits or shifts, and that's going to affect all of us on a personal level. And for you, Sagittarius, that's going to be in your second house of money. So really bring into attention that, identify who you are so you can prepare yourself for these transits, so you can really respond. In the past, the foundation, or that which was in the past that is affecting you, is called tradition, nostalgia, reflection. This is the Hierophant card for other decks. So if you read other tarot decks, this is the Hierophant card, the card of Taurus. Your education is your foundation, no matter what type of education you've had, whether it's a formal education or informal education. That is the foundation of where you are now. You're cutting ties possibly with school at this time, finishing up whatever it is that you were meant to do, and branching out in a new direction. The world is your oyster. Take it seriously. Something else I observed, in your outward manifestation, we have Sagittarius, which is a fire sign. In below the surface, we have the Strength card ruled by Leo, which is a fire sign. And then crossing, we have the Emperor, which is Aries, also a fire sign. So huge emphasis on fire energy. And in fact, for the first part of the year, that continues for a certain part, I believe, but definitely at the end of 2017, we had a big fire grand trine, which is all three of these signs were activated, giving us a lot of motivation, a lot of spark to go in particular directions. The oncoming energy, so we're leaving behind education as an archetype, and we're moving towards these spiritual, creative, inspired directions. The world is your oyster, as I said. And if you don't work in a creative capacity, because not every Sagittarius does, you definitely will be kind of branching out in something that is inspired. So creativity doesn't mean that you have to paint pictures. Creativity can mean that you have a specific vision, you're going after it, everything else falls away, and you have that identity, that personal identity. The oncoming energy, we have the Wheel of Fortune, beautiful energy. The Wheel of Fortune, we have change, action. So definitely good to have this in this position, the oncoming energy, personal transformation, change, opportunity. Really good with leading up to that Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter energy. You guys have to be aware of your financial situation. Expect the unexpected, because Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter will be in your second house of money in starting this year, but really keep going until 2020, and that's going to be a huge experience for you guys. So the Wheel of Fortune, get on top of your situations. If you take chances at this time, they're going to produce positive rewards, and I think that your life is transforming in directions that you had never expected it to. Very fortuitous and very positive. Now this is you in 2018. We have the High Priestess, insight and intuition, the other feminine card. So Sagittarius, whether you're a man or a woman, the female principle is very important for you right now. So keep in mind that you are meant to identify through your intuition. It's not so logical. It's actually based deeply in emotions, maybe in some practical things. Always keep that practical in mind. Remember, the Emperor is crossing you this year. So you have to get down into basics, focus on finances, particularly in the late fall of 2018. Here is your environmental factors for 2018, the Hermit. This is the card of Virgo. Not so many major transits in Virgo right now. We've kind of finished up that transit, but this is your 10th house of career, wisdom of solitude. And nothing great really happens without a little bit of solitude. People like let's say Albert Einstein, I think he was a Sagittarius. Let me know in the comments below if he was. But anyway, nobody that's that brilliant ever achieved anything by socializing. Like, he had to spend an incredible amount of time alone working and studying in order to be able to achieve the things that he was meant to. For you, you're a social sign, so that doesn't mean that you're going to be a loner, but you may be a loner in a different sense, doing your own thing, kind of cutting ties with institutions or organized ways of doing things and doing it your own way and seeing the direct result in 2018. So take those chances. Maybe you'll meet some Virgos who help you along the way, who give you some perspective, some strength to do your own thing, to have your own identity. Virgos are really known for that, for doing their own thing, and sometimes criticized for it. But most of the time, wisdom of the direction that you're meant to take. The next card is your hopes and fears. This is, at this time, my favorite position, because this is your thoughts manifest great things. We have the Devil card. This is called bondage, and so issues of control and freedom. Okay, so this is, I would assume, is more of a fear, unless you're kind of into SM or something, in which case go for it. But bondage card, I think that it means here that you need to be cautious of recreating structures that you have left behind in your future, afraid that, you know, you'll get kind of pigeonholed for something, and so therefore not doing it, thereby doing it. And so getting stuck in that pigeonhole and by trying to avoid it. So rather than, you know, trying to fight against something, make peace with it, move forward and carry on. Very good message. By the way, Wheel of Fortune is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is moving into your first house, into Sagittarius, in November 2018. So good fortune probably in the fall. We'll see in the four corners exactly how that plays out. We're still going to clarify all these positions, so we'll see how that looks. The outcome energy for 2018. This is a big one. Should I save it for later? When do you guys? Should I save it for? No. Yeah, I'll save it for later. Okay, so let's clarify. I'll do it to everybody. This is the point of the walkthrough. So here is your first card. We're clarifying your position in the world, how people see you. They see you as in balance, in harmony, carrying on, you know, robust. So your first clarifier for the Temperance card is the Hanged Man. So the underpinning of that is that you'll have to wait certain things out. Maybe you'll have to wait until money comes through. You'll have to wait till Saturn goes direct in Capricorn. I think that Saturn's retrograde period is from late spring until September 6th in Capricorn. So that's when maybe you can make certain moves. Until that time, you'll have to wait things out, and then after, again, there'll be some periods of waiting as resources kind of tighten up for you for the next 2.5 years. Here is the next message. We see the Judgment card. This is my favorite card in tarot. This is the Last Judgment, allowing people, I love this card, oh my gosh, I just saw it, the new level to it, allowing other people to be the vehicle through which other people achieve their karma. It'd be really interesting where that's going. Somebody's either helping you or you are helping others, and by helping others, you are helping yourself, right? Your dharma. By living your dharma, you're allowing things to come through. You're allowing the manifestation of energy, facilitating. Generosity really does pay off, and maybe not directly, but in a holistic sense, your whole life is going to be that way. So from a place of maybe certain degrees of frustration, you just want to flow through life, fire energy through, right straight, the main pillar of this reading, and this fluid inspirational Piscean energy, just wanting to go without any obstruction in 2018, and yet having obstruction in your life. I think it will be financial for some of you. Things that you have to work through, not the end of the world, just some limitations and responsibilities that are yours to muster. This is also the Sacrifice card. So maybe you have an opportunity to go your own way, and yet there is this kind of sacrifice that you willingly do for someone else. So it's not necessarily that you are going to have financial problems, but maybe someone around you is going to need you, and so therefore your resources will be spent for 2 people instead of 1 or 3 people, whatever. But everything pays off. Everything is in balance, and everything is going in a good direction. And if you are the road by which someone else travels, then God or the universe looks down on you for that in a positive way. Not down on you, but looks down on you and lifts you up and is grateful for your generosity of spirit. That's true across all religions, right? So be that person. Be that person that is so generous and a facilitator of positive change in the world around you, and then the world will provide you change as well. Let's clarify below the surface. So if you're holding on in 2018 for something, waiting to see something come through, then definitely that will, in a certain way, allow you to wait out a waiting period for yourself, so you don't feel like you're hitting your head against the wall and then going in a new direction, Sagittarius. Below the surface, the modifiers are the Sun, the Strength card, fire on fire. This is the Leo card. This is the Sun. So really, this is like, this is identity. This is, you are finding out who it is to be you. That's a really beautiful message. You're really finding out what it means to be you, releasing old karma. That South Node transit in the 3rd house, such a monumental change for Sagittarius. Things that were never possible before are now going to be possible. You have to allow everything to fall into place. And the elation, this is the ecstasy, but not ecstasy in terms of like some common term, like the, in Christian thought, the ecstasy, like having that connection to spirit, the pure transcendent awareness of love, eternal spiritual love. So it's a great alignment for spirit, and that will only magnify as Jupiter moves into Sagittarius, which it rules. Jupiter is your home planet, and so the ecstasy of identity, etc. The next message, we see the Chariot, which is the sign of Cancer, overcoming problems. This is the inspired warrior. So overcoming problems, consolidating the past. The theme continues through this reading, continues. Overcoming and pure joy. So who cares what happens in the outside world? Who cares if you have to kind of hang out with someone on the low for a minute as you wait for your things to come into focus? Those things are only temporary. This is eternal. This is eternal spiritual fulfillment. You're living your dharma. If you don't know the term of dharma, then look it up, but it basically means your spiritual need, or like your spiritual mode of operation, like your spiritual goal, or the main thing that makes your identity true, the greatest truth in your life, the spiritual, what you're here for, in other terms. So when you're really living your life authentically in the direction you're meant to go, you're kind of aligning that with the current circumstances, the practical circumstances of your everyday life. And that's leading you into a transcendent moment, and who cares about the outside manifestation of that? If there's, some things that need to change, some puzzles that need to be, pieces of the puzzle that need to be put into a better position, it's okay. Here is the clarifiers for the past affecting the present. So we had the tradition, which is the Hierophant card, and now we're looking at its clarifiers. We have justice, fairness, and order was achieved in your life, especially maybe legal. Both cards represent legal traditions. So letting go of some kind of injustice, you've maintained balance or attained balance again, and you're able to move forward. The second modifier is we have the Fool. So the new beginning had begun in 2017 for you guys, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, and now you're painting a new picture, the carte blanche, right? Like you're going in a new direction, and Jupiter's just waiting for you in November in Sagittarius. That's the magic that happens. Jupiter's beautiful in Scorpio, but it can be behind the scenes. So you could see yourself kind of drawn totally okay with working in your personal space and finding identity things, working through your identity issues, intuition, the finer things, kind of recluse with a particular small group of friends rather than, you know, just out in the world. Out in the world, you're going to be fine. I think people will see that you are switching gears, going a different direction, still socializing, but maybe less so this year. Let's modify the Wheel of Fortune. Your first message is the Magician. That's huge. That means set your intentions throughout the whole year. When Jupiter moves into Sag, it's go time. Maybe the entry of magical people into your life. Magical people means not some magical archetypal thing. It represents people that have, but maybe so, but it represents people who can instill great change in your life. So your life will be moving into a space of great opportunity and change, interaction, connecting with other people. This year, your chart is focused on money, home, stuff below in the personal space. Lots going on in your 12th house, so there's a lot of this personal reflection, and yet you're liberated from Saturn's transit in your first house. So no more of that. There's no more spyglass upon your personality. You're not under a microscope anymore. Your finances are, but not your personality, which is a lot more impersonal, a lot less stressful, I think, depending on your situation. But hard 5 years for Saturn transit, first and second house, but after that you'll be okay. But yeah, so just be mindful, be conservative financially, you'll be fine. But yes, definitely a release of all that energy of that Saturn transit. I can't wait to do Leo's video either, because it's like, yay, Saturn's gone. So this is, maybe I'll do Leo next. But anyway, so yeah, you're released. The Magician's released. The cat's out of the bag. You know, maybe that's what I'll call this reading. Here is the second energy. We have the Star Destiny. You guys see the cards, they're just sitting here. We have Destiny. It says hope, inspiration, and nature, transformation, release, liberty, soulmate coming in. We'll see what cards coming up here next. But yeah, definitely you're going in the right direction. So if I come from a fishing village. I grew up in a fishing village, and you have to wait for the fish, right? You stand in the water and you wait for the fish. You can't tell a fish to hook itself on your hook. I never fished. I just took photos. But they stand in the river. They stand, or they're on the boat in the ocean, and so the fishermen wait for the fish to come. Like the opportunity needs to come. So it's kind of like fishing. Cat's out of the bag, it's kind of like fishing. Remind me in the comment section below the title, and I'll retitle this video. If you have a better title, let me know in the comments. I like when you guys name the videos. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, so wait for that opportunity. Remember the moon, the Pisces. Wait till your instinct says that this is the opportune time. Okay, so why don't we do the four corners and then the final one? This is the final manifestation. So let's look at that last. And so we're talking about early spring, summer, fall, winter, right? So, or if you live in the southern hemisphere, then of course this is going to be your summer, fall, and then fall, winter, early spring, and then summer, and then summer, fall. So just invert that, it doesn't matter. So here is your first message. So this is, January through March or so. It's a little bit fluid. It can be April. We have the World. So some opportunity to travel, branch out, connections, internet connections, rewards, expansion, destiny, the consolidation of a relationship. Something came up for you guys at the end of December. So there could be a lot of this, honeymoon period behind the scenes. There could be a real lovey-dovey relationship that blossoms, and there will be a lot of time spent one-on-one with one particular person. Maybe it's a Virgo. Hey girl, hey. So yeah, so there's this huge transformation. Maybe you're just sitting within yourself. You're cocooning like a butterfly just waiting for November. it's not going to be boring. Trust me, it's going to be fine. Here is your next message. We see the change card. So this is the death card, the card of Scorpio. Release the past. And so this represents, where are we? Spring, summer, or summer, fall, depending on the hemisphere that you're in. So this is the change the past. The change and transformation doesn't take long to happen. Once you're on that, think of it like a snowball going down a hill, but in a good way. And it's getting bigger and bigger and faster and faster. And when Jupiter hits Sagittarius, it's going to be lightning fast, just like your arrows. So you are going to be picking up speed as the year progresses. Right from the get-go, you're already having a good time. And now we're looking at summer, autumn. We see the Lovers. So really, maybe some of you will be consolidating your relationship then, identifying that this is your soulmate. Looking back on the December reading, there was this message of, how do you say this? There was this message of the soulmate coming in and letting go of the soulmate of the past that was actually a lie, and moving forward in the right direction and finding that perfect person. Family, big decisions about soulmates. Very, very likely that this happens in the northern hemisphere in the summer to fall, or if you live in Australia, southern hemisphere, this is happening in your winter to spring. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm getting confused. And then here is your final kind of quarter, when we're looking at like October, November, December. The Tower, change and transformation. That's when that's when everything changes in a good way. Discovery, change, adjustments. Everything that you've been waiting for is going to pick up speed and is going to be like, okay, you wanted this change, here it is. Here is your change and transformation. You can let go of the old things now. Don't get taken for a ride. Don't let someone, this is channeled message, don't let someone encourage you to suspend the biggest year of your decade for their interest or for their needs in a way that is going to compromise you. Don't allow someone to compromise yourself, compromise you. This is a liberation tower, and the consequences of all the change that you're initiating. Listen, you don't get the Magician in this type of energy with the Wheel of Fortune and the Star and not have to adjust. You just simply have to adjust. That's just a part of the equation. So here's our teaser. I'm so sorry for teasing you guys. Just remember that we are doing an Astro Wheel on Instagram, and that is linked in the About section below. The outcome is the Empress. Hey, mommies and daddies, Sagittarian mommies and daddies. Fertility, sensuality, creativity. If you don't want to be a mommy or daddy, then you can still be creative. But whatever inspiration, whatever piece inspires you in 2018, you're going in a wonderful new direction. It's such a reward. Now I promised you guys the tokens, so let's put some tokens down. Here is your token for the core energy for Pisces, moon energy. So this is blessings. This is the blessings token. Goddess blessings right in the core. Beautiful energy. Let's clarify that Tower, because I know you guys are kind of tripping. Now, for some of you, this is the fall. For some of you, this is the for some of you, this is the fall. For some of you, this is the spring, summer. So yeah, so Chiron moves into Aries this year. So this is in the house of, oh gosh, Sagittarius, there you go. This is in your 5th house. So be careful for romantic relationships that challenge your partnership, because it looks as though something could come in like a romance, a boyfriend situation, a girlfriend situation, where your wife or husband is waiting at home and somebody comes back from the past. Chiron, someone who you feel very weak to, somebody who just hits all the right places, is seductive for you, and you're motivated, you know, towards, you feel passion towards. Okay, so why don't we clarify the Empress? The outgoing energy is communication. So many of you will take up some kind of art, some kind of communicating that your experiences, bringing them to a higher frontier, you know, bringing forward that which you had learned, you know, manifesting that in song, writing, painting, dance, whatever. So yeah, Sagittarius, there could be a third-party situation waiting for you at the end of the year. High Priestess energy, we have Gemini. Insight and intuition into circumstances by challenging the status quo. Look for Gemini people to guide you this year, to give you insight, intuition. The Wheel of Fortune, we got the Wheel of Fortune double time. So whatever luck is coming to you, you can just, you know, let go of all the shackles and embrace the new direction. The new direction is a wonderful one. Maybe there's a consequence to a past relationship, that false soulmate relationship that somehow is with you through 2018, some facet of which, the legacy, the history, but you're being blessed away from it. You know, this old relationship wants you in the past. It wants you under the thumb of some kind of restrictive ideology or philosophy. It doesn't want you to be free and creative, and that's who you are. And so you're liberating this by the spring, early summer, or by summer, early fall for the southern hemisphere. You're making the change. But I think it's going to be like the last hurrah, the last challenge. Like, are you sure? Oh, interestingly enough, this could be to do with the home. Pisces dips back into Chiron dips back, this asteroid dips back into Pisces in the last month of the year. I think it goes direct on December 6th or 26th even in Pisces. And so maybe this is like home and family, the last healing of home and family issues. You just have to stick to your guns. Let's clarify those, lovers. I know you guys want to know. Earth energy. Now, going back to the December 2017 reading, we had the King of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles everywhere. And so what are we looking at? We're looking at Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. Hey girl, hey. But it doesn't have to be that. It could be anyone with an overwhelmingly earthy transit, which is Capricorn. There's tons of earth energy happening in 2018, 2019, and 2020. Or possibly someone who has other transits like Mars or the moon or rising in an earth sign. So it's a variety of things. Look for earthy people. And the Lovers is ruled by Gemini, so that could be coming up as well. Also came up for you in the 2017 December reading, where that soulmate really comes up. So we have Neptune dreams, and I'll show you guys this. You guys have never seen this. This is an exclusive, Baruch exclusive. So we have Neptune as a general token. I have to finish up now, but this is little worry dolls that I got probably 25 years ago. Not to age myself, I was very young, I was a kid, and there's little dolls inside that are supposed to catch your dreams. So all the bad nightmares, they're like little voodoo dolls, you know, or like spirit dolls that are supposed to protect you in your dreams, and they're so cute. I don't think I'll show them to you guys, but they live in this little pouch and they protect me. So that my finger grabbed that. They live inside the bag where my tokens are, which was given to me by a wonderful subscriber. But yeah, so they live inside this bag and they came out to say hello. So they're saying, don't worry, Sagittarius, you'll have a wonderful 2018. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading for 2018. Thank you guys so much for watching. As a reminder, if you want more information, I will be doing a astrological reading on Instagram. It's linked in the about section below. So please feel free to follow me there to check that out, and have a wonderful 2018. Happy New Year. Thank you guys so much for watching. Also, if you want the astrology for all this, it's also linked in the about section below. And yeah, thank you so much. I hope you guys have an amazing year, and I hope it's as transformative as these cards say it is. Bye. Hi Sagittarius, and thank you for joining me, and welcome to this 2018 preview for the months of January through June. So this year I'm going to actually split up the reading into two halves because I find that the whole year is just too much information. This is a supplemental reading for the main tarot card reading. I also didn't want to conflate the astrology with the tarot, so this is what it's like. And finally, you guys are my guinea pigs, so this is my first walkthrough of the entire reading, and so I hope you guys enjoy it. In your reading there'll be probably extra information as I work out all the transits and explaining them to all the signs, so you'll be getting extra information as I figure out the charts. This happens every single time. Usually I start with Aries, but this time around it's Sagittarius because it's similar to my chart, so it's a little bit easier for me because I'm a high placing Scorpio rising, so something like this here is my rising sign, so I usually fall into the whole thing with you guys. So we start off the year really with Mars moving into Sagittarius. That's a really wonderful transit, and Saturn now is out of your sign, so you're really clearing this out on I think December 20th. Saturn moves out of Sagittarius and into your second house. So over the next 2.5 years, really be careful with money. That's the main message. Be careful with money, careful with money. In 2020 there's going to be a huge conjunction here between Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, etc., etc., in your second house with Pluto. It's going to be huge for everyone in the world, including us who have this placement or transit. But yeah, Mars in 2018 January is in your first house, starts off your year with a bang. This is a chart for January 31st, where we see a full moon, so lunar eclipse, excuse me, in your ninth house. Now this is a nice full moon, really wonderful for bigger picture things such as ideals, goals, goal setting. So wonderful time of year to set the long-term goals. I didn't check when the Chinese New Year begins, but it usually happens within a few weeks of this, so definitely set your long-term goals. And oh, here's a little tip. The Chinese tradition or kind of superstition is that you're not supposed to cut your hair after the Chinese New Year. It's bad luck for one lunar month after, so from the full moon or from the new moon until the next new moon. So if you need to cut your hair, do it now, especially for you guys with that full moon eclipse. Full moon eclipses eclipse things out, so if you need to make a change with school, higher, bigger picture things, and this is the time to do it. Okay, let's move on. The next major thing to kind of focus on is the solar eclipse. This happens in February 15th. This is what this chart is for. That's happening in your third house. Of course, all the full moons and new moons, I will be trying to do specials for each one, but the third house, initiating communication in new directions, transformation, initiating relationships with friends, liberating yourself from things to do with your upbringing, because this is the south node in conjunction with Mercury, the sun, and the moon. So really powerful partial solar eclipse on the 15th of February at 27 degrees of Aquarius. Okay, next we're moving on to March. Like I said, this is going to be a really fast walkthrough. So we have March. For more details, I'll do them in the weeklies or dailies. So March, okay, so this is a chart for March 22nd, but before that I want to just mention that Jupiter is going to go retrograde on March 8th, and so that's happening in your area of life. Now where's it? 12th house. So 12th house has to do with that spirituality and review. It's not necessarily the easiest year for you guys with Jupiter transiting in the 12th house, so when it goes retrograde between March 8th and July 10th, it's a long retrograde period. It'll definitely be a nicer part of the year for you, so you can be looking forward to that. But overall, you are going to see things expand, especially things that you have not dealt with at different parts of your life. Okay, next we're going to take a look at the 22nd, which this chart is for. We have our first Mercury retrograde. Now that Mercury retrograde is in the sign of Aries, so right here in your 5th house. You see it's stationed right here. And so March 22nd through April 15th, first retrograde period, really be cautious with relationship things. This is called the stellium, when you have so many planets and aspects all together at once. Really be careful for romantic relationships and how you communicate with your children. You can cause a little bit of turmoil with regard to those types of relationships if you say too much, if you don't say enough. So it's time to be cautious with our words. On the 31st of March, did I set that separate? Venus will move into Taurus, which is your 6th house of service. Now, the reason that I'm highlighting this part is that Venus is in rulership in Taurus, and so this is going to be a very powerful month for you from March 31st till like the 27th of April. This is the area of your life that has to do with everyday activities, chores, etc. Venus also rules beauty, so you might be focusing on nutrition, nutritional supplements, working out, taking care of yourself and taking care of others. Venus also teaches us how to take care of ourselves, so our mindset will be really attuned and aligned with self-care, which is wonderful for March. In March, people tend to start thinking about the oncoming spring and summer season, and so they start kind of focusing on the gym, etc. So the next transit that I want to mention to you guys happens on April 17th. This is when Chiron finally moves into Aries. So this is generational. Chiron has an elliptical orbit, which means that in certain signs it stays there for a really long time. Other signs it's there only for a minute. So Chiron moves into your 5th house. So anybody who's born in the 70s, maybe late 60s, has this transit. Chiron return in Pisces was difficult last year. A lot of my clients were people born in the late 60s, because that Chiron in Pisces, I think, is extremely difficult on people. I'm not sure how Chiron in Aries is going to be. Maybe something to do with temper, something to do with initiating energy. But if you have placements in the first part of Aries, that will be really opening up deep emotional things. Maybe if you have a moon here or the sun here, this can also be an intense transit. And then definitely if you have Chiron here natally, if you were born in the 70s or so, then you might feel the impact of that quite greatly. On the 17th, we also see Saturn retrograde. Now, I do like Saturn retrograde periods in general. This is happening in your 2nd house. So 2nd house is money, material possessions. This is going to take the pressure off of you for a few months. The retrograde period of Saturn retrograde is long. April to September, Saturn will be in retrograde. So this creates an environment in which the pressure is sort of off, but it's not necessarily, it's kind of like work at your own pace kind of energy. So you still have all those things to address that you've always had to address, and now you are in some way being called upon to deal with it again. Now, Saturn will not dip back into Sagittarius. It'll stay here in the 2nd house. So you can just really focus on financial things. Prudent, financially conservative actions are really helpful. Mars is in Capricorn at this time in April, so you will feel a lot of momentum. Also, this is a time when you can start actually feeling that 2020 transit, the conjunction in Capricorn. This is going to be huge. People are going to lose a lot, people are going to win a lot, and on a global scale there will be huge changes that we are going to be responsive to. Huge transformation. A lot of people will be talking about this transit for a long time. Just as a time frame, it begins now, the whole season of this transit, and we'll learn our first lessons about what we need to do for ourselves and people around us, and then that will come into fruition in 2020. Okay, so the next transit that I want to mention on the 22nd of April happens when Pluto goes retrograde, and Pluto's retrograde about 6 months out of the year. This happens on the 22nd through September 30th. In Capricorn, Again, this is going to help you kind of look at the root of financial issues, give you a second chance possibly, or maybe a second attempt or a second experience facing problems. At this time, Pluto is an aspect to Venus, the ruler of the second house. So you have this energy of really kind of coming into focus for the first week of that retrograde period, the 22nd or 20th through maybe the end of April or so, where the focus on money and where you need to place your financial efforts really comes to the forefront. Okay, and then, oh, I almost missed it. Let's see. So May 15th, let's see this chart. Okay, let's go back to April. So on May 15th, we also see Uranus moving into Taurus. So this is an exciting change because it doesn't actually change very often. Here we see Uranus in the last degree of the 5th house. I love last degree transits. It really is a benefic, positive transit. So leading up to May 15th, let's say from this point on, from the 3rd week of April until for the next 3 weeks, expect unorthodox change to happen in your romance life, in your romantic relationship, something unexpected, a surprise, transformation out of the box experience. Maybe you'll meet someone who you never thought would be an appropriate partner for you. The Sun is in combination with Uranus. Beautiful energy. Really try to keep yourself as open as possible to the energy so that it blesses you, so that you have that opportunity to really kind of have your eyes opened by Uranus, have a different approach, and be tolerant to the energies around you. Okay, so Uranus moving into Taurus. Now there is a little bit of something to mention here, and this is a bigger transit issue. We'll see it in the next chart here. I'll switch over to the next chart now. So we have here Uranus in Taurus, and I don't know if you guys have enough experience to see this, but let me outline it for you. There's a big T-square on Uranus this year. So every year there's one or two aspects that are holding, and usually that has to do with outer planets because they move slower. And this year, the main transit to kind of watch out for is the T-square on Uranus with the nodes. So your nodes represent where you're coming from energetically and where you're going. So your karma and your dharma, right? And then when you have a T-square, that's a challenge energy. So there is a lot of change and transformation that is happening in your life this year that is affecting directly your personal spiritual progress. So you'll be kind of juggling between the two throughout this year, and Uranus and Taurus in your 6th house will really challenge you on a daily basis. So you really have a dynamic transit here. This transit usually lasts about 10 years, give or take, maybe 8 years or so. Okay, so the next transit that I want to mention is Neptune, and we're up to June now. This is a chart for the end of June. Now this is when Neptune goes retrograde. Now Neptune retrograde is kind of a interesting transit to talk about. In certain respects it represents positive change. In certain respects some people believe that it's confusing. For some people, Neptune retrograde creates a lot of confusion. This is the area of family and home, so things become obscured. This retrograde period is also a long-term retrograde period because it lasts from June until November. All the outer planets beyond Mars have these longer 3 or 4 month, even 6 month for Pluto retrograde periods because they're outlier planets, etc. So they have huge influences upon the things that are going on in our lives, the big temperamental issues. Your inner planets always manage the day-to-day, like Venus and Mars and Mercury. Okay, so now back into Neptune. Neptune retrograde is sometimes called the awareness transit when it goes retrograde. It brings into focus the things that we need to be aware of. It allows for clarity. Some people say that Neptune direct, especially in Pisces, creates this dreamlike state. So for some people it works really well. For other people it creates a lot of confusion. So you, with an overflow of those dreams, or maybe obscured dreams, or crossed paths with other types of dream states. So either you're the type of person that gets really overwhelmed with Neptune retrograde, or you are a person who's very clear thinking with Neptune retrograde. And that depends on a lot of other planets in your chart or possibly your own perspective on astrology. There are different ways of discussing this, and I've seen really good arguments for both. So the best way that you can kind of judge how Neptune will affect you in this transit is look back to last year when Neptune was retrograde and see how those months went for you, and if you were heavily influenced. Actually, if you look back on 2016, that's right, when Neptune was in opposition to the Jupiter transit, then you can really bring into focus how that affects you personally. So look back to 2016 at the time that Neptune was retrograde to really understand how that affects you. And then finally, the last transit for this video that I want to mention is Mars retrograde. And so Mars goes retrograde on June 26th. Where is Mars? Here in Aquarius. Mars in Aquarius is pretty sharp. My moon is in Aquarius, and I know the Mars in Aquarius energy pretty sharp, pretty intense, and can be a little overwhelming. Things particularly to do with thoughts and ideas and concepts can really get thrown out of whack when Mars is in retrograde. Different than communication with regard to Mercury. This is about doing things, so putting things into action. And for you, this is in the third house of Mercury. So Mercury rules the third house. So you should expect to have certain delays, and especially stuff to do with your South Node or your karmic center, where you start off your life and the things that you're liberating yourself from. This Mars retrograde period starts on June 26th and ends on August 27th. So you have a few months of kind of maybe less energy, more latency, less self-starting, letting things kind of go, lying by omission. Aquarius, Mars, you know, lying by just not mentioning it, things on the low. Anyway, Sag, I hope you enjoy this. This is a supplement for your tarot card reading, which I'll link in the About section below. I hope you guys have a wonderful 2018. Let me know how I did. This is my first video, but by the time you guys see it, all the videos will have been done. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful 2018. Happy New Year. Love you. Take care. Bye. Hi everyone, thank you for joining me and welcome to this reading for your horoscope spread on the Instagram post. So I didn't do a proper intro, or at least I didn't figure out how to link everything through to Vimeo from Instagram. Instagram doesn't allow for clickable links yet, so it's very hard to kind of direct you guys in the direction of the house clarifier readings. So I'm going to just attach this to the videos in which I didn't explain this for you guys. So this is why you're watching this intro. So basically this video is a sample of what you can find on Vimeo. This is a reading connected to my Instagram post for the horoscope spread for 2018, in which I read for each of the houses of your horoscope for your natal sign, and made a separate video for each house to clarify what kind of energies you should expect for 2018. Okay, so those videos are now available on Vimeo for rent. And this is a sample video that shows the center card for that horoscope spread and what you will expect in each of the videos. It's the same format for every single one. So because we couldn't link through from Instagram, we're going to show you a sample here, and down below you can find the direct links for all of the houses for your sign. So stay tuned, and now you are going to watch the video that I taped for the center card in each of the horoscope spreads. Now if you don't want to rent the video, by the time that this video reaches, or the Instagram post reaches 500 hearts, I will be releasing some of the videos, if not all, on YouTube. So you can hold on tight, and when that post reaches 500 hearts, then I'll be able to release that for you guys on YouTube. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for your sign. Happy 2018. I'm sure you're hearing it a lot. But anyway, thank you so much. Bye. Hi Capricorn, thank you for joining me, and welcome to your overview reading for this post that I did on Instagram. So you're either watching this on Vimeo, in which case this first video is free, and then or you are watching this on YouTube, in which case you guys got this post on Instagram up to 500 hearts, and I've released some, if not all, the videos for this reading. So I know it's a little extra, but I was hoping that you guys would get something out of it. And so I did this astrological reading. I've done these in the past and they take a really long time. So I hope that you guys you know, make good use of the information therein. So this is a free introductory video, which is meant to explain to you the overall energy and get you familiar with the way that this reading is structured. Sorry, I'm still fighting a cold as I'm recording this. Colds in Vancouver, they stick around for a really long time because it's very mild here and quite wet, quite humid. Not quite extremely humid, so we're basically living in rain for 6 months out of the year. So yeah, it's once you get a cold, you can't really shake it. Anyway, there won't be this kind of commentary in the other videos, but since I'm just setting it up, it's been a few days since I've recorded these, so I'm kind of a little rusty, but I'll pick up, and hopefully you guys will get a fresh set of readings anyway. So let me introduce you to the way that I'm going to structure this. Over here in the corner is the Instagram post, so you can refer to all of the cards based on all the houses that you have. Okay, your core energy is the Sun, which is like the best card in the deck besides, you know, the Star or maybe the Magician or something, but it definitely is a card of prosperity, of hope, of success, good opportunities coming into your life. It's an affirmative card. So overall, I would expect your year to be full of light and bright energy. By the way, I forgot to mention this because I'm a little just settling down into the reading, but I did also a free reading on YouTube that you guys can watch, and if I can link it, then I'll link it. If not, it'll be on my channel. And then I also did an astrological reading for the first 6 months of the year that you guys can check out as well. Okay, so this is, let's settle in, and then I will show you how each of the houses are going to go. So the core energy is the Sun, which brings you a lot of success, a lot of prosperity, a lot of hope. In fact, excuse me about my cough. I wish I could pause the video. There's no way to pause it. Gosh darn it, I should have a pause button. Okay, so the Sun, in terms of your astrology, you have the transit. You have the transit for the next 3 years. And it's such a extreme transit. It has, you should watch the astrology video for sure, especially if you are Capricorn Sun or Rising. But you have this massive transit of a bunch of planets that are rolling through Capricorn, including Lilith this year and then Jupiter in 2020. So these 2 years are quite significant. 2019 is going to be significant as well. And so you're just going to see a lot of extremes in your life come through. I'm really hoping that the majority of you, those extremes are going to be positive. Like you'll be coming into your own, you're going to be representing. So the Sun is just got me really excited for you guys. I have literally nothing in Capricorn. It's in my second house, which I love, which is the money transit. So you know, I don't mind that Pluto there, but yeah, I love my Capricorns. My mom has a moon in Capricorn, and I have a lot of friends who have Capricorn placements. You guys are the most dependable and kind of steadfast sign. Totally a good friend, a good connection. So I'm always thankful when I make a friend with Capricorn. It's like, that means I'm not screwing up my life when I actually befriend a Capricorn. When I meet Capricorns, it's like, okay, and they like me, I know I'm not screwing with my life and that I'm on track. So it's, it's like a good note to self, like I've been approved, you know. So here is your first card. We have the Knight of Swords. This is the card of Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. Here we have Sun and Scorpio. This deck is the Tarot de Baleine, and I'm not going to keep repeating it over and over again, but it's a really old deck from the 18th century. And so it has slightly different associations that were used back then or by this person who made this deck. It's a beautiful deck, really truly one of a kind and gorgeous. But we have this Sun in Scorpio person. Somebody's coming through in your life who is putting forward new ideas, you know, challenging the status quo. The next message is the Queen of Cups, who here is a Cancer, which I think is in line with the regular way of interpreting this. This could be you. This is maybe you putting your heart on the line. Maybe somebody's piecing out on you a little bit and you're like, but don't go, you know. Maybe you're the one who is in some way trying to solicit, or maybe these are two friends that are in some way a part of your life at this time. The next card is beautiful. I love this card for the central energy. Not only in this deck it represents the moon in Aquarius, which is my sign, but in most decks this is Sun in Virgo, which is my sign. So this is my card. And as you guys know, hard work and tenacity gets you to where you need to go. The eight of Pentacles, it's like hard work and effort is going to be yours this year. And I feel as though from your cards on the side here, in terms of your astrology, if you go for it, you're going to get it. Okay, so the next card that I'm going to pick for each sign is the Angel Answers. And so the Angel Answers are a quick yes and no or short answer to a question. So as I'm doing this reading, if a question pops into your head, you can kind of write it down or make note of it somehow. And when I pick the Angel Answers card for you guys at this point in explanation of each house, you will see the answer. So it's like a little impromptu, you know, divination session, one-on-one with me and you. So put your question in your mind. I'm going to pick a card. There it is. And I'm about to turn it over to answer your question. Your question is, don't stop. So keep going, Capricorn. Keep it moving, you know, keep working hard. The final card I'll pick for each house is from the chest. If you guys are like old school supporters of mine, then you know the chest of tarot cards that I rock, and it's coming back for this reading. So here is your card. There's a variety of cards in there. Don't mind that they're upside down. 3 of Wands. I don't read reversals. This is good stuff coming in, stuff that you've worked for. So there's a reward for the effort that you've put into your life and the effort that you've extended towards others. Things are coming in for you and you've earned them, and I think that you're gonna be able to move forward in a lot of success. So thank you guys so much for watching. Now if you guys want, go rent the videos that you're interested in for the houses you're interested in. If not, then hold on tight, and most likely some of those videos will be available on YouTube. Okay, thank you guys so much. Happy New Year. Take care. Bye. Hi Capricorn, thank you for joining me, and welcome to this reading for the first part of 2018. I hope you guys are doing well. I have a couple announcements first. I did a astrological reading for you guys that's available on YouTube, so that is linked in the description or in the about section. I also did an Instagram post astrological reading using tarot cards, and then I did a clarifier on Vimeo. That's linked in the about section. Once the Instagram post reaches 500 hearts, I will release some of those videos on YouTube, if not all. So go check those out. But if you want to support me in the channel, then go rent a couple of the clarifier videos for your sign. So this is the reading that I do every single year, and so we're focusing on the full 22 higher arcana cards. So I'll be using those in order to take a look at your 2018, and then later we'll clarify with some tokens. Okay, so I'm gonna give this a good shuffle. You guys know this deck, it's the Oracle Tarot. So I really love this deck. It's really bright and happy. I don't know if I used it last year. I don't think I did. But if I did, it's because I really truly think it's a really nice deck, and it brings a lot of positive energy. just a warning, we're going to have the Tower come up, we're going to have the Devil come up, we're going to have the Hanged Man come up, etc. And so Death card. So don't be worried as it comes up. It comes up for every single person. I also will be making mention of some astrological transits. So if that gets confusing, watch the supplemental astrological reading. It's only about 10 minutes long, and I'll explain and show you the astrological chart and help you find things out. But let's just begin. The main energy for this year is you have the Fool, which is the new beginning. This is a really wonderful message. In fact, this was coming up a lot. So there is a new beginning that you're entering into. There's a transcendence of a new direction in life. I talked about this a lot in terms of astrology. You have a very special transit that's going to be in your sign for the next 3 years. And the first moment that this transit really comes together is in 2018, next year, and then it's just going to increase in intensity as the planets Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto come together, and then intermittently Mars will roll through that transit as well. That's going to be in 2020 at 23 degrees of Capricorn. So what happens in 2018 becomes a precursor to 2020, and I think that the more difficult one actually will be in 2018 because Lilith is there, so there's more chance for problems. But in 2020 there's going to be that progression, and the benevolence of Jupiter is going to come through. So what does that mean for the Fool? That means that there's this new cycle that's beginning, and you're kind of at the center of it. Unlike any other sign, you're really at the center of it, and you're going to feel that really strongly. Here is the next message. We have the Chariot. This is the card of overcoming circumstances and moving past circumstances that may have been in your way. So this is called Inspired Warrior. This is also the sign of Cancer. So Cancer people may be helping you, or in some ways stopping you from doing your own thing. Both of you and Cancer are both cardinal signs, which is initiatory energy. The Chariot represents overcoming circumstances. So whereas the Fool can mean that there is a new beginning that is starting up for you, the Chariot can actually represent that there is a transcendent energy where you're getting further ahead in whatever you have been trying to achieve. Not necessarily putting the past to rest, and in fact incorporating the past into your present moment some way. Here is the next card. We have the Bondage card. So this is the Devil. This means that in your public life or in your social life in some way, there's a significant pause that you're being held. You're being held to something in a situation with work, in a situation with your family. You have a lot of planets in March, in the springtime, in Aries, in your 4th house of home. There's these kinds of pockets in 2018 astrologically of planets ganging up, I would say. It's called the stellium. Planets being together and forcing very strong energy in specific areas of your chart. In March, April, May, the focus is going to be in and around your 4th house of home and family. I feel as though that could be something to it in terms of the issues of control and freedom come up, particularly vis-a-vis other people in your family, other circumstances. We'll go back to this and clarify in just a moment. I wouldn't be surprised if the Hanged Man didn't come up there, but that's okay. It just means that there's fundamental changes happening for you in your life. However, there's still and not entrapment, but there is some kind of connection that is being upheld. Underneath we have the Empress. So this is your responsibility to family as a mother. This can also represent your responsibilities towards your wife. This is one of my favorite Empress cards. She's so pretty. And so this is a time when there could be increased sensuality. You could be feeling closer and more emotionally connected to a partner. You could be feeling a greater degree of love, connectedness, togetherness. Something can come in you this year. Sorry, that's... but anyway, something can enter you this year, and you could feel as though you're really looking to have some kind of sensuous experience with someone and really feel that connection. This could be leading to a possible pregnancy or a possible expansion of family, or any kind of expansion of life around you. This could be gardening or pets coming into your life, that sort of thing. But that maternal feminine energy is really happening at your core, So here is the next message. We see the Emperor. The Emperor is the sign of Aries. There could have been a husband in your past who was a significant influence upon you. This is also a time in which you spent a lot of effort in trying to secure power and authority in circumstances. I feel as though you're coming back into that time to a certain respect. I feel as though you're reaching back to the past in order to maybe deal with some of the constraints of your present moments in your everyday life. I think that you're growing into appreciation for the things that are influencing you. Remember, the past is not as good as you remember it. The present is not as bad as you think. And the future is not as scary as you imagine it to be. However, we often do think of the past as somehow having some kernel of truth that we've missed. It's kind of like searching for a needle in the haystack of memory. And so you may be prompted, or you may feel inclined to try to solve current problems with your past circumstances, trying to find a pattern. Our brain likes to find patterns, by the way. That's why we all like tarot cards. And so we search for these patterns and resolutions, and we fight for the patterns and resolutions in our lives. And so you need to really use that in order to use that well, but at the same time recognize that some of that may be a construction. It may not be real. It may be imaginary. But if there is something in your past that really signals stability, something that you wish to achieve, something that you wish to work towards in the future, then it's okay to go back to things in order to take the strengths of the past and apply them to the present. So the oncoming energy is the Strength card. This is the card of Leo. And so this is courage and open heart, fighting for what you want. Okay, so there's not a lot going on in Leo this year. There is a North Node transit, which is karma and destiny. Again, check out the astrological reading for more information on that. But this is your 8th house, which is change and transformation. So I feel as though the things that you have within yourself are stronger than the limitations that are placed around you in 2018. And so your natural instinct will supersede whatever kind of external things that are holding you back in your life at this time. I feel as though that is going to grow and grow, and the momentum to change and transform is just going to get stronger and more vibrant in your life in 2018. You will definitely be moving towards things that you feel passionate about. Some of you will connect with a Leo, possibly to teach you about this kind of energy of self-assurance. Here is your card. This is your card. This represents you in the situation. You have the card of Justice. So this is honorable choices. I love that message for justice. But the Justice is ruled by Libra, the sign of Libra. Whenever I see the Justice card in a position like this, it always reminds me that you are moving towards attaining balance. You are moving towards being more harmonious within your own life, feeling at peace with the things that are in some way difficult for you, or difficult to manage, or limiting in some way. Sorry, I had to check my flower. Sorry, it just came over me. But yes, I feel as though justice is the message of knowing exactly where to stand, so that your tasks and your responsibilities and the benefit that you're bringing yourself through those activities is in harmony with one another. In your environment, we have the card of tradition. This is the card of Taurus. And so here in your environment, there could be Taurus people in your life. There could be a long-standing interaction with a religion or with a belief system. So there could be some kind of agreement between yourself and others in order to achieve goals. Maybe these things are moral. Because of this situation, I do think that there may be moral values that you are seeking out in your community. So such things as everybody believes the same thing, so let's hang out together. Everybody has the same goals for society, so let's volunteer together. Those kinds of things are really at the forefront of your 2018, coming together with groups in order to get stronger. So strength in numbers. The hopes and fear position is the sun. So the sun represents positivity coming into your life, hope, optimism, joy. And so this is what you're hoping for. I used to think that this position was really not that important, and after a while, I really came to realize how the sun is, or this position is the most important part of the Celtic cross spread. This is the hopes and fear position for those of you guys who don't know. And so with the sun, you're really manifesting from within. The energy that's within is coming out of you, and you're sharing that with the world. So it's extremely actually important in terms of meaning, or in terms of resonance. It will greatly influence the rest of your reading. I feel as though with the Justice card, you're getting fairness, and I feel as though you feel that fairness coming into your life, and so that justice is the happiness for the fairness that you are attaining. I'm going to keep this card covered. I've been keeping it covered this time because this is the ultimate outcome. We'll save that for last. But next, let's clarify some of the cards that are already on the table. So first, we had the bondage card in your social life, in your everyday occurrences, the things that are happening around you. There's a lot going on the personal level that is autonomous, which means that you're doing it on your own. You're kind of doing your own thing. I feel as though you're reaching into the past. We'll see how that works out for you in a moment. But I feel as though in your public life, there's like an attachment. There's an attachment to a community. There's an attachment to a way of thinking. And you are ascribing to all those things. The first clarifier is the Temperance card. So this is the card of Sagittarius. There may be a Sagittarius with whom you've gotten involved. This person may be very creative. They may be very kind of up and up kind of attitude, excited about life and about all the different prospects that life brings. And so you may in some way have gotten attached to this person or this situation, and this person has in some way it's a different type of personality. It's a different type of personality. It's a different type of balance, and their balance, I feel as though, is not necessarily your balance. You're very focused, you're very centered, and you're super grounded, whereas they are just up on some kind of trip. They're going in some direction. Their life is budding. They don't know exactly what's going to happen next, and they're okay with that. That totally stirs you up in the negative direction. That's not something that you resonate well with at all. And so you're like, okay, but somehow you've gotten attached to this person either through some kind of joint venture or some kind of interaction. And this person doesn't have to be a Sag, but it's like Sag-like qualities. And so you've gotten attached. This could be a marriage that you're attached to that you want to absolve now. A marriage that you've realized is not necessarily so good for you. That's not a message for everyone, but for some of you that will resonate really deeply. So yeah, I think that you're searching for something. Some of you who are in this marriage that is somewhat difficult, you may be looking for that husband or to be that husband that you were in the past. So there could be some kind of searching for some kind of long lost memory, some long lost event. Here is the next clarifier. We have the High Priestess. So I think even though I'm kind of, you know, hesitant about your public life, I feel as though for you there is great insight for it in 2018. So I don't feel as though maybe it's the funnest or the most carefree and budding social life. I feel that it's deeply transformative. And you'll see this in the Instagram post and the subsequent readings on Vimeo, because I already finished those for you. So there's a real emphasis on your social life, and important things are coming into your life in 2018. Important situations, relationships, and friendships, and just any kind of partnership that is in some way supportive of your goals. So I don't feel as though you're trapped. I feel as though you're trapped with a purpose, and that purpose is greater personal growth, transformation. I get annoyed when I look at this card here, and that's the empathic clairvoyance piece with regard to that position. I really feel like you're entangled with something that you don't necessarily want, or something that you may just kind of wish that it was more like the past rather than the present. Okay, let's clarify the Empress. And so with the Empress, there's the Hanged Man. Where did I say I was wondering if the Hanged Man would show up somewhere? Oh, here. Right. So the Hanged Man is a card of perseverance, waiting something out. For some of you who are pregnant, that would definitely work. Hanged Man with an Empress like this definitely can mean pregnancy, because what happens when you get pregnant, you can't do all the things that you want to do, and you have to just wait certain things out. I feel as though it's a greater life lesson. For those of you who have been waiting for a partner, and you're at your wit's end, you want that partner to come through, you want that connection. I think these cards just say that in 2018 you will learn why you have been waiting, and there will be a reason, like a catharsis for the reason why you've been waiting so long for that person. The next message is the Tower. So there is a change that is going to come through. Remember, the Tower was going to come somewhere. So I feel as though it's important to be mindful of the energy around you in 2018. This came up a couple times in the Vimeo videos, the ones for the astrological tarot reading on Instagram. And so the Tower represents a discovery, change, adjustments, but it actually can represent like a disruption of order. And I feel as though you're waiting for something to happen while something's fundamentally changing. And it's like you want to run for the hills and arrange things for yourself while things around you are shifting, but yet something's holding you from doing that. And I wonder what that is. I think that will be unique to each and every one of you. There's a lot of transits that are happening in Capricorn, as I said. There's Mars, there's Saturn, there's Lilith, and there's Pluto. And so expect a lot of vibrant change hitting really close to home. That doesn't mean that something is happening to you. That just means things are happening around you. The past energy, we have the Emperor as modified by the Hermit. Okay. The Hermit says that there was a time of separation between you and your partner. One or both people had drawn in to find the solutions for their life. I feel as though this was somewhat alienating from the things that you wanted to achieve. The next message, we have the card of change. This is the card of death and transformation, releasing the past. So I feel as though it was important for you to transform and go in a different direction. I feel as though fundamentally this has prompted you to make personal changes. This is your personal life. I feel as though you're sitting on the edge of a cliff with your legs dangling over it with this Tower card here. And the cliff is your personality. The cliff is your reality. And you're kind of thinking about everything you see. Think of like the Grand Canyon or something with a vast open space before you. So you're not jumping, but you feel that vastness. Imagine your feet dangling over a cliff into the Grand Canyon and feeling that huge space in front of you. So I feel as though you're feeling that about who you are, and that vastness is actually creating opportunity in you to create new things, because your consciousness is getting an awareness raise and you're connecting to a higher vibration energy. The oncoming energy is the Strength card. So this is how the future is affecting the present already. So in some way you're already getting ready for these vast changes. You're already preparing yourself. Both internally, it's like a change within yourself. Like I said, we're preparing for 2020, and it's a change within yourself in which you're a little bit more resolved, a little bit more tough, a little bit more composed, you know, all those different things add in, and things that you weren't able to do in 2016 or 2017, maybe you'll be able to do in 2018. That's that Strength card. Let's modify the Strength card, and we have the Moon. So this is coming from a subtle place. Sometimes that represents desire or yearning. Sometimes it represents infidelity. I don't think that that's the case at all here. I feel as though for you, there's this unknowable strength that's coming through for you, and you are being supported by it. There would be a Piscean person who helps you achieve this. I feel as though for many of you, health and working out are huge this year. You just feel that strength come through, and you feel like you connect with like strong bodies, health and fitness. Regardless of what you look like, you connect with the energy of strength, you know, and that's coming from a subtle place, a strength coming from a subtle place that's not necessarily something to how do you say this? You don't know exactly where it's coming from. It's just coming out of you, and it's growing. The next modifier for the Strength card is the Star, one of my favorite cards. So it feels as though it's fated. It feels as though you're on the right path. This is fate. This is the right direction you have to take. And I feel as though you are, so maybe there's destined people coming into your life. The Moon is ruled by Pisces, and the Star is ruled by Aquarius. And so maybe, and the Strength just again is ruled by Leo. So look for people like that in your life at that time. So we have fire, water, and air. But yeah, so there's people of influence coming into your life, soulmates. There could be some connection between an Aquarian person or an Aquarian type or a soulmate and a community. So somebody who is drawing you into a community of people who are like-minded, who see similar values to you, people who want to align themselves with you and make you stronger. Now, these four positions are representative of the seasons, and in the past it's really confused people in the southern hemisphere, so people in Australia, New Zealand, Brazil, etc. They don't like the fact that I'm so north hemisphere centric. So why don't we call it the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, and the fourth quarter? So this will represent the months of January through March, April through June or so, July through September, October, and then the last few months of the year. And my times are usually fluid, so this can go till May, this can start in February, so just allow for some change and fluidity between the positions as you are coming back and checking out the video throughout the year. By the way, I love when you guys get back to me in September and say, wow, this reading is really resonant. It's really true for me. So if that's the case, if you're watching this in October and you're like, wow, Varush, this has been my life, let me know. I love to hear that information. Here is the next message. We have the Magician. So you start off your year with a bang. You're like, boom, I'm there. I'm ready to go. I'm going in a new direction. I'm excited about the prospects and the possibilities in my life. Number 2, this is the second quarter. We have the World. For some of you, this means travel in the spring. Southern hemisphere in the second quarter. This is travel. This is actually a completion of design. So I think that if there is a love that comes through for you, it will be around the second quarter here. For the third quarter, we have the Last Judgment. So there's going to be a big decision that is made in the fall in the northern hemisphere and the spring in the southern hemisphere. This will be really about, I feel, consolidating this lesson. I feel as though this stays with you for the majority of the year. This relationship or this change in a relationship, as you're letting it go, it keeps on continuing as a facet of your life, and it kind of is like a lesson or something that's meant to see you through to your next destination. The outcome, or the fourth quarter, is the Lovers. So I feel as though you're going to move towards being in love with someone, finding that romantic connection. For some of us, this represents family, but I try to read this card as a love card. Like it's love coming into your life. I feel as though maybe you're going to put something in the line. Maybe you're going to give up something really huge this year in order to pursue love with someone. And maybe that's what you're kind of toying with throughout the whole year. And the ultimate outcome, this is the summary for the year, is the Wheel of Fortune. So whatever is happening, Capricorn, this is a really beautiful message. It's saying that whatever is happening, there's destiny and there is fortune, there's personal truth that you are a part of this year. And I feel as though it's taking you in really good directions. I feel as though you have great support from friends and family. I feel as though you can be fearless this year. You can put things on the line. I feel like things that you really value, you can put things on the line and pursue them. Jupiter is going to move into Capricorn in 2019, and that's when you're going to feel the sheer power of what this transit represents. But I would say in your lifetimes, this is going to be one of the most significant transits of your life, 2018 through 2020. And I feel as though you're meant to kind of really appreciate it. If you're having children at this time and you're a Capricorn, that's also quite significant. You're going to feel that in a big way. Okay, so let's clarify some of these with some tokens. So we have the South Node when I looked at the Sun. So I feel as though this is all connected. The Sun and the South Node. The South Node is your karma that you've brought into this lifetime. And I feel as though you've in some way reconciled your karma and you're free to move forward. It's such a happy reading, Capricorn. When I got this, I was like, uh-oh, what's going on here? But it's not like that. It actually is very, very optimistic. So this is the summer. This is the symbol for summer. And so there could be some kind of that moment. So this would be second quarter, south hemisphere people. So in the summertime, you could be feeling as though you're really trapped in something. But the circumstances are outward manifestations of the energy that's not moving well enough in your life. So if things are popping up for you and you feel like, wow, I really want to do something, but life's holding me back, then this is probably it's happening because your internal process is in some way stuck. You're not accepting a change. You're not releasing something. So life's keeping you where you want to be, you know? So you have to kind of do a bit of a deduction. You have to balance out your desires with your possibilities and move forward in the direction of your possibilities. So the next message is the sign of air. For some of you, air signs are going to be a huge facet of your life. Let's not cover her up. So we have this air opportunity going in new directions, taking you with the wind. Remember the idea of the canyon, sitting over the canyon and feeling the vastness before you? That's super airy kind of energy. Let's see with this justice, what's going on there. Capricorn is the way to go in 2018 to 2020. It's justice, you guys. Some of you are getting married. So this is the marriage token. So congratulations. I mean, justice is the law. So for some of you, this is like an unexpected marriage. You're going back to someone you're meant to be with, into the arms of that person, and you understand the significance of that relationship. And then it makes perfect sense. It's really beautiful. In the tradition, if you are getting married, you could be getting married really early and then fully committing by the end of the year. this is the card of marriage as well. So your year for some of you could predominate as, you know, live-in couple or marriage, or there's some kind of like a deep commitment that is happening for you in your life. Let's see, tradition. We have the, hold on, we have the root chakra, which is the baseline energy for everything. It's not sexuality, it's actually the roots. You're setting down roots. So if topics of religion come through for you, which is kind of the 8th house a little bit, and definitely in November and December of 2018 when Jupiter moves into the 12th house, those topics of religion really come through strongly. Think about, like, if you're converting to a religion, or if you're aligning yourself with a religion, really think deeply about that. And I feel as though your decisions are going to be very serious. It's not going to be like a haphazard, like, oh, I'm just going to go Buddhist, or I'm just going to try Hinduism, which is cool too. But I feel as though you're really committing to a structure where you form a community with people, form relationships with people, and you ascribe to the way that they think in order to be in agreement with them. And I feel as though, well, this is the sunrise token, and I feel as though this is really coming up for you in terms through a relationship that's coming together for you. Here is the next message. Let's hold on. We got another chakra, and this time it's the voice. So I hope you guys are singing this year. I love this chakra, by the way. So this is the voice chakra. This is letting your voice speak your truth, and yeah. So focus on the throat and communication, and definitely focus on singing your truth this year. I picked this for over here, so you're letting that connection through by the end of the year. The whole consolidation is the rise of who you are. And I feel as though some of these things are antiquated. There's certain things that you've outlived, but there's better things around the corner for you, Capricorn. It's going to be a beautiful year. I really recommend that you guys check out my videos on Vimeo. I'm not trying to get you to rent them. I will make them free and accessible if the Instagram post for that reading reaches 500 hearts. Not all, but some, or maybe all, I don't know yet. But yeah, so just at least check out the Instagram post down below. And there's some really interesting messages in the individual house readings on Vimeo or YouTube. I hope you guys have a wonderful year. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk with you soon. This is so exciting. So remember, this card is represented by Jupiter, and Jupiter is moving into Sagittarius in November in your 12th house. So this is when Jupiter makes moves this year. That's significant times for you. So when it goes retrograde in the spring, and then when it goes direct, and then finally when it moves into Sagittarius. So look for those dates on my astrological reading, and I will talk with you soon. Have a wonderful year. Happy New Year, and take care. Bye. Hi Aquarius, and thank you for joining me, and welcome to this introductory video for the horoscope reading that you found on Instagram or YouTube. So this is an introduction so you guys know what to expect for the clarifier readings. And yeah, so sorry it's a little dark. Let's make it a little bit brighter. So yeah, so hopefully you guys are doing well, and let me wish you guys a very happy new year. I hope you guys are excited. This is a sample which shows you guys how I'm going to break down each area of your horoscope reading that you found on Instagram. Okay, so first off, the central card is the art or temperance card. This means that you could potentially meet a lot of Sagittarians this year. It's a time of great art in your life, creativity. There's a lot of opportunities coming to you through when you balance things against one another. So like you take a positive and a negative and you find a solution over and over and over again, and that's this kind of idea of balancing the spirit, which is creative principle, and the emotions, which is the water. So that's the introduction. I'm not sure, just as an announcement, I am going to post possibly this video on YouTube, because I don't think I can link back to the Vimeo rental readings on Instagram. So this might be on YouTube as well, in which case all the videos are linked in the About section below, where you can rent each of the houses in the Instagram post that is also linked down below. Now, if that Instagram post reaches 500 hearts, then I will release some, if not all, those videos on YouTube. So if you don't want to spend the money, hold on tight, we'll get you some readings. But this one is going to be a freebie. It's going to show you guys exactly what to expect. Okay, so the core energy for the year is art and temperance. Very positive card. I mean, everything's going to be slow and in balance, and in a year like this year, you definitely want that. You're actually quite fortunate because there's a massive conjunction in Capricorn. You can check out my astrology video for 2018 for that, but and it's happening in your 12th house, which is going to be less impactful explicitly than for other signs. So there's this massive transit in Capricorn where there's going to be 3 or 4 planets at a time for the next 3 years, in conjunction with Pluto. Really heavy-handed energy, and so I feel as though you are going to be kind of spared some of that. Okay, so for each of the cards that I draw for the houses that will represent a part of your life, I will clarify that with the Tarot de Baleine, which is a beautiful deck. And so let me pick some cards for you. I do shuffle this funny because I'm trying to spare the cards from damage, because they're kind of, I think it's an out of print deck, but it's definitely a rare one, so I only use it once a year in January. So I thought I'd do the main reading with that this year. I just saw something on the card. Okay, so 3 cards from Tarot Baleine. These are all tarot cards, of course, using the lower end major arcana. And your first message is the 10 of Swords. A lot of people are getting this in the past tense. That means there's definitely a shutdown to a situation, a termination to a circumstance. Things are ending and things are completing for you. So be excited about the prospect that you are leaving something behind and you are moving into a new phase of life. Here is the next message. We have the 2 of Wands. So you are going to this year have your eyes open and have a new perspective, which is interesting because there's actually not that much happening in the 9th house for you, except for the sun and the inner planets transiting in and about September to October. But beyond that, that perspective change isn't happening. So it might be a spiritual perspective. You do have a lot going on in your 12th house there. So maybe through some disappointment, Aquarius, you are going to change your perspective and have some really amazing opportunities come through, which is the Page of Pentacles. I wasn't even looking at that as I flipped, which actually means financial opportunities. There's a lot going on for you in the 2nd house, particularly in the latter part of next year. So this also means, these cards are in French, by the way. I'm not going to reiterate that for every single video, but it says soutien dans les entreprises. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's lots of opportunities in enterprises or business, right? So these cards are really old and they have slightly different meanings than we're used to, but they are really beautiful nonetheless. And I do honor the readings when the meanings when I read them. So I feel as though maybe out of past things that didn't work out for you, particularly in business, you're kind of wrapping it up, you're learning your perspective, and you may be initiating something new. Page of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn people might be catalysts for that. So then in each of the videos, I will pick a card from the Angel Answers Oracle. And so this is the cards, and you can put a question that's a yes and no question, because these are kind of yes and no answer question cards. So put a question in your mind and think about maybe something that's with a short answer, yes and no. And then I will flip the card over and it says helpful people. So it seems as though somebody's coming in to give you some kind of support, some kind of recognition, maybe as you're turning over a new leaf and making a different approach to a circumstance. Somebody is bringing something new for you. The next card is, we have the Rider-Waite cards, and we have the Ace of Cups, a new relationship coming out of the past of something else, new feelings and emotions. For Aquarius, it's really about turning over a new leaf in 2018 in a lot of ways, especially in November. You're getting ready for Jupiter in your 11th house, when your social life gets a lot of help and a lot of support to get you through circumstances. I feel as though this will be a really nice time for you to meet someone on a romantic level, and there's going to be a big focus on money in your life. So all those things have been needed for you, and I think that you'll really see the benefits of that. We'll talk about the houses in more detail, so stay tuned. Go down below, connect with the first house video, rent it if you like, or try to wait for it and see if I make it available for free. But anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful year. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk with you soon. Bye, Aquarius.